Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show of KCM. We're going to be taking a look at the maps as they just came out for ASL 17. You can take a look over there on the Liquipedia page, but be careful not to get spoiled for some of the results. The wildcard qualifier has already been played, and I just got spoiled for it, so be careful of that. But for now, we're going to take a look at these maps. First one we're going to be looking at is Blitzy 1.0. or Blitz Y, and it's kind of a crazy map, don't you think, Shun?
It's very interesting, saying it's probably one of the most interesting maps we've had that's not like an island map for quite some time. One thing I think is really interesting is the duality of the map. You've got this congested right side with this narrow catwalk and everything's kind of tight, a lot of dead zone of the cliffs and what have you, but on the left you've got this like wide expanse of a wasteland.
Yeah, there's a high ground there on the left side with a base, but that's going to be a very important location on the map to holding that high ground. You know, you can cover if you have tanks or lurkers or whatever, what have you. You can hold that area. It's going to be really, really important. I'm wondering about the buildable terrain here as well to cut off that right-hand side, that catwalk side. Is there any way to shut that down, or is that going to be unbuildable? That'll be interesting. Also, this island here on the right hand side of the map is super cool. I feel like most maps where we've had just like a single island or a couple of islands, the islands are way on the other side of the map. They're like up in a corner or way over on the opposite side of where the players are playing, and this one is dead center right in the middle between the two bases.
It kind of indicates that whoever controls the center will eventually be afforded a big advantage, and you can either go for this sort of like double gas on the left-hand side, or the more safer pocketed base on the right-hand side, more mineral-centric, with just access to one gas. So, yeah, interesting way of approach to the map design, and kind of affords like an interesting approach to the game overall with how you can like tactically engage with the map.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. You do have to mine out the minerals before you can land a CC there. If you're Terran, that is going to play a factor, but it is really interesting that the right two bases are kind of more defendable, a little bit easier to keep those alive, but they only have one gas between the two of them, and then the left-hand side has double gas, so it should make for some very interesting matches if we ever get to a late game, which we haven't had thus far. Let's talk a little bit about the third base on this map and how you can get there.
Yeah, well, you have these like really deep bases in the far back of the corners of the map you could go for, but it's just so far away and hard to defend it on the low ground. So much more safer to go for these closer, like natural third on the catwalk, which is expanding towards your opponents. That doesn't feel too good. So you've got this choice of, do I want to expand towards my opponent and kind of have this like tight quadrant in the corner, or do I want to go a bit more wide and take the sort of high ground peninsula and try and expand out towards the center on the left hand side more? But it's a much more wider open expansion, so you don't really want to do that unless it was, say, like a six hatch hydra kind of play and you want to be more mineral centric.
Yeah, there are multiple options to go for here. You could even go for the high ground mineral only if you're forced into that position. It's pretty near to your natural, closer than the corner base, but not as valuable as either of the corner base or the catwalk base. Also, there's that like counterattack path that could be utilized from that corner base down into your natural. So this it'll be very interesting to see pro players kind of work this one out in the ASL and also here in KCM. So let's jump into the next map here. Okay, next up we've got Citadel, and we've got some real mixed opinions here on this map. It's a tough nut to crack. It's very strange and not what we're used to at all. So let's talk about some of the features here. We've got a lot of ramps or kind of high ground areas that are not really ramps like we are used to. Something like Vermeer, we have like it's kind of a new style of ramp, or a ridge, kind of like a ridge line, where we've got one ramp going up on one side, another on the other side, and kind of like a little space on the top where you can park some units and take advantage of the high ground. The same sort of ideas being used here, but the little space at the top has been completely removed, and the ridge is just two ramps stuck together which doesn't leave much space for units to stay on top of, but it does block line of sight and gives a slight uphill advantage or high ground advantage to whatever's standing right at the top, right on the edge of the ridge, but not much more than that. And there are no high grounds, true high grounds around this map, so all of the bases are going to be on low ground. This 12 o'clock base is going to be on, medium low ground here. The 6, 9, all of the main bases do not have that high ground. So this is a very strange map with a very open center. Why don't you talk about this a bit, Shin? Let us know what you think.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough nut to crack, like you say. The main feature of the map is this big central citadel, like Lee was saying. With the lack of line of sight into this center citadel, it does kind of force you to want to take the middle only as your natural third to kind of get some insight into the center of the map and kind of avoid getting cut off. Because if you do try and expand wider along the horizontal axis, you're kind of leaving yourself open to being bulldogged by a Protoss player. If you're Terran, for example, it can be a little bit difficult to come into these pockets. There's a lot of terrain you can't even build on at the bottom of these ridges, close to your natural as well. So it can be difficult to get these third gas online early. So kind of does force a lot of players to want to take this mineral only, which is in and of itself a much harder base to defend than something like Polyvoid.
I think this is one of the crazier maps. I think Blitz Y is pretty wild, but we're playing with a lot of different ideas here in this map in Citadel that are going to play out over time, and we'll just have to watch, wait, and find out.
Yeah, one thing I would like to say about this map is I feel like with the geometry is that it'll either lead to a very early game bust or a much more drawn out map splitting late game.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to split the map here. We were talking about this before. We got 3 lanes, the center lane and the 2 sides, and the side lanes are going to be very easy to control, but the middle of the map is so wide open. It's going to be very hard for any race to control the very middle of the map and keep it locked down and prevent busts from coming through. Even if you do commit a huge amount of resources to that middle, there are those side lanes then that might be left less defended, and the players will be able to get through those. So a lot of counterattack options on this map. It's going to be very difficult to split it effectively, but we'll see what these Terran players can do. Maybe someone like Light can find a way to split this map in half. I'm not sure. Radion is our third map, and this map sponsored by AMD. As you can see, the logo there in the center, and of course the name, definitely a AMD map, is a remake of Circuit Breakers. That is our most normal map, and that's to be expected of these AMD maps. Another one is Vermeer. That was a fantastic map when it came out. It's still a great map, and it's given us a lot of good games, so I'm expecting a lot of good games here as well.
Yeah, we have the few differences from the circuit breakers here. We don't have the 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock side bases, and the 12 and 6 are much more closer to the center, but are these tiny high ground little islands. So it's kind of an interesting difference, because in circuit breakers you obviously had 2 different axes of attack to that to 12 and 6 o'clock, whereas on this map you've got less bases available to you, and these 12 and 6 are harder to attack.
A little bit more defensible, those bases, but less bases here on the map than circuit breakers. And yeah, we do have kind of a interesting bridge going over to the center left. Rather than having a base there's just kind of a pocket location that's going to be important to hold to defend that area, make sure that counterattacks can't come in and ruin your day at your third base. But I'm looking at this map. It looks like a completely center map. I think we're going to have a lot of great games here. TVP should be fun. The ability to control the natural here, the lane over to the third is going to be very important. Moving out, I think, might be hard for the Terran. Getting out of this natural into kind of that more open area towards the third base might be a little difficult, but you can support from the high ground in your main base with some tanks and kind of inch your way forward against the Protoss. There's a lot of play here. It should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Our last map to take a look at here before we jump into the games is Troy. We've already seen this map several times. We've had a great game here already in PvZ. It's a very fun map. It is a remake of an older version. This is Troy SE, and the same ideas are at play here with the assimilators that can be blocked or broken and cut off the main bases from the rest of the map, make them into islands. There's also the 12, 6, 3, and 9 that are semi-islands that can be broken off as well. And then you have your little island pocket bases that are just outside of your main base. So you can take that. Drop play is going to be insanely good on this map. We're going to see lots of insane strategies, lots of crazy, crazy strategies here. I expect to see many Protoss players going for reverse shuttle play in ZVP. We're going to see a lot of drops in TVP as well, and we're going to see some really interesting games, I think, on this map.
Oh, absolutely. And the week 2, Best versus Hyun, for example, was a great game on this map with a Hyun like busting in the bottom left and Best just barely hanging on. And we saw like interesting drop play from him as well, like just like 2 Overlords and like 8 Hydras just hitting these island bases to try and take those out. So definitely can approach this map in some interesting styles. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more games on maps like this. We got Troy and kind of balancing out the map pool here, I think, because I would say this has got a bit of a middle ground map where it's kind of got a bit of everything.
It's nice to see that the map makers and the ASL are bringing in, some crazy maps, some very standard maps as well, though. I'm really glad that we have a map like Radeon in this pool to kind of balance things out. And
right,
this is to me a really wild map, and I think it favors more islandy play, but I mean, it's not like a 76, right? This is not totally out there in terms of a map.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely think this map has been able to like keep itself like quite well balanced on the tightrope of like kind of being a little bit out there, but still being like quite normal as well, and how you can approach the map. So I think this is one of the most exciting maps we've got in the pool. That's old. At least based on an old geometry of map. But I think, like you say, Radiant balancing out the map pool heavily, and then we've got some of these other crazy maps like Blitzy, and I'm really looking forward to this map pool.
That should be a lot of fun. Let's jump into our games, guys. All right, since we've already used a ton of time to open up and talk about the maps, we're going to jump straight on into the games here. Welcome to week 3 of season 1. We've got Rush, Royal, Mong, Snow, Best, Mini, Hyun, Queen, and Shine, with Rush and Shine coming out first, and Protoss getting that nice seat in the back. They're going to just sit and watch this first game, and they're not going to be coming out until a little later, and they have a killer lineup here this week. They brought their A team, so I'm looking at these lineups thinking, like, what are we going to see here? Another Protoss victory or what?
It might be. I mean, we've got the absolute powerhouses of Snow and Best kind of like taking the MVP spots of week 1 and 2, and then Mini showed up and was like, yeah, I'm around if you need me as well, I still exist. But I'm happy to see Shine just being brought out in game number 1. Like to see this guy. He's the observer professional, usually what you'll be seeing being your little cameraman in the ASL and what have you. He knows the game better than most people. And he's got a bag of builds that are pretty spicy as well. He's very good, cheesy kind of player, but can play a macro game, can play a standard game as well, which is why he's so scary, because you never quite know what you're going to get with him. But you see an 8 Rex coming up from Rush wanting to put some pressure onto this hatchery first.
We were talking about this before. The rush distance here, we're not really sure how far it is on Blitzy or Blitz Y. With that catwalk area, it feels like a very short distance, but this is a very long map, so we'll have to see how long it takes Rush to get his Marines over here and deal that damage. The Overlord is actually flying in a direction that might end up getting it caught here. It's right over top of this this bridge here, or this ramp, and if he has a second Marine pop out right now, couldn't he kill this Overlord? It's maybe they'll just barely make it.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get it or not. He might just barely make it in time.
Okay, he makes it.
Yeah, he's no way he can get this.
I thought he was going to send that Marine forward earlier and just go for the Overlord, but he doesn't. He's instead going to start the bunker here at the front and wait for the Marines to pile up a little bit more before he sends them across the map. He's got 2 Marines coming up here. Is he going to pull some SCVs as well? He's got 1 at the front. It's already taken some damage. So this is a little bit rough already. Rush going to target onto some of these drones. The drone's going to be pulled to the side. Well, they can't really go around here and try to jump on the reinforcing Marines. So they're just going to be sent back. Is he going to build a sunken colony? Or will he just focus on Ling production? He does start a sunken. So something to buy some time here. He's going to try and block the Marines from getting back into the bunker, but changes his mind at the last moment. He's going to bring the Lings forward now. And I think this sunken will finish. And it should be able to outrange that bunker right there.
Yeah, he's trying to metagame the situation. He also pulled the absolute minimum of drones, which is 5. Like, this is absolute bare minimum to stall for as long as possible. Shine's trying to deal with this as tidy as possible. He's got these drones out on the map to block any kind of rallied Marines right now, but he's going to come in the surround on the bunker, and he wants to break this first bunker and then fall back to the sunken. He's just barely going to kill this bunker efficiently. It's going to be a tight kill for him, but he's kind of mapped out this hold quite nicely and kind of min-maxed the defense of this as much as he can to maintain as strong of economy as possible and try and negate the effectiveness of the rush here.
Wow, that was perfectly done by Shine. He only lost 1 drone to all of that. 2 bunkers were made. A couple of Marines died. He just had 1 sunk in. And I guess this comes down to Rush a little bit, right? Like, Rush didn't build the bunker in range of the sunken colony, so he wasn't able to hit that sunken for quite some time. Had the sunken, you know, been brought down to 100 HP, when it pops out, it starts with just 1 HP, so then you could pick it off immediately. Maybe you would have had a better chance of taking that on. I'm not 100% sure on that. But basically, Shine holds on to that perfectly. And he's going to be in a good position from here. Although Rush does have this wall back at home he can fall back to, getting his command center out without having to pump too many more Marines.
Yeah, the wall will basically compensate him for this early aggression because he's already behind from making this early pressure, but he can compensate for that a little bit by not having to make too many Marines right now and just focusing purely on get his production up online. So he has got a little bit of saving grace here. Yeah, but unfortunately for him, wasn't able to really get any damage done to Shine, and Shine has kind of like optimized the defense as best as he can, and he's putting down his Spire right now, and he's pretty happy with his position. He has been slowed down a little bit because of the pressure, but so has Rush. So the relative timings have kind of been shifted forward almost a whole minute.
So with Shine going for this Mutalist play, he hasn't been able to slip a drone out on the map yet to take a 3rd base, so just going to be a lot of pressure coming from Shine. We'll see if Rush has all of his ducks in a row here, if he's got his turrets on time and ready to defend. If he doesn't have those turrets perfectly on time... Oh, he's actually going to move out with Marines here. This is not what I was expecting, because there is already a sunken colony. I really thought that he was going to stay home with this, but he might catch some Lings, so he gets a couple of Lings here for this move out, but he really does have to head home now, wait for his medics to come forward.
Yeah, right now, basically, this is a standard game that you're seeing, just all the timings have been shifted forward almost a complete minute. So the Spire's going to be finishing at 6 minutes instead of 5 minutes and what have you. So both players are now kind of lined up with each other. It's just that right now we only have a few moments until these Marines are going to be hitting our 3rd base, and those mutas aren't going to be out in time if he comes up here really quickly. So Rush is trying to find a little pocket here, a little timing window where he can come in and put some pressure on and force maybe some Zerglings out of Shine here to kind of force him to be a bit uncomfortable and try and see if he can get some damage done. There's not any sunken set up as well. Oh, he sees the hatchery. He's going to now just pounce onto that, get a cancel on that at the very least, so he's going to be happy about getting that win.
Yeah, forcing the cancel here. Nothing Shine can do about it. There's the cancel at the very last moment. The mutas are out now on the field, and he should be able to take the base in the top left. I'm surprised he didn't decide to take the top left base there anyway. This is a map that is very difficult for the Zerg player to, you know, secure 4 bases here. There's a lot of defensive position that you have to hold in order to take all of that. It's kind of similar to like a Dark Origin or something like that, where Hydralisk Defiler is going to be much more popular. So that might be what we're seeing from Shine here a little bit later on, if he can make it through this early game here and get himself into a decent position.
Right, I feel like Shine was anticipating a +1 follow-up rather than a 2x, and that's why he kind of got blindsided a little bit by that. But he's diving into the main base here, trying to get that turret, gets that turret, and be able to snipe an SCV out on their retreat without losing any of his mutas thus far. Currently 8 mutas, one finally biting the dust, another on low HP. Needs to be careful, loses another mutas, loses 2 mutas thus far, but can get on top of this bio, reduce the count of the Marine Force just a little bit, so that when the Rush does want to come out on the map, he's not quite got enough critical mass to overwhelm the mutas.
We're going to watch carefully here what Shine is targeting with these mutas. We've talked about this a lot, is if you're targeting down the actual army of Rush, if you're focusing on taking that out, you're probably going for a more aggressive play here. Maybe going into something like a Lurker all-in after this, or a Guardian play, something like that. But if you're going to be going for SCV damage, that's more of a standard tactic. You're going to want to pick off some SCVs and slow down the Terran players so that you can get into your game, your later game, with a bit more confidence, with a better economic lead. And it looks like Shine here focusing on, controlling this Marine medic ball, pushing it back, killing off whatever Marines kind of straggle forward. He was damaging those supply depots there at the front. There was not a lot of defense for those, but it seems like he's fallen back for now. He's just going to take more of a defensive position here, wait for these Marines to come out before he starts to engage.
Yeah, Shine's taken a much more passive approach to the game because the third was destroyed, so it has kind of like reset what he wanted to do originally. So he's kind of having to adapt a little bit to the situation, play a lot more tactically, just switch into lurker tech while putting on a little bit of harassment. Probably not being as aggressive as he'd like to be, but he is over making mutas just a little bit. So he's going to be putting on a lot of pressure now, coming in and sniping turrets and putting on a lot of pressure onto Rush, while also trying to reinforce these mutas as they die. But now Rush is going to try and put on the counter pressure, move out onto the map with these Marines and force these mutas back to defend. There's no way these mutas can stay for any longer.
Yeah, the mutas are going to have to head back home, and the creep colony has started, but this is way too late. Creep colony is not going to be able to morph in time. Oh, and he's running into the Marines as well, losing a couple of mutas here before he can even reinforce his position. That sunken is going to go down very quickly. This is a nice catch here. Getting these Marines and medics on this tiny little bridge here is very, very nice, but look, there's one medic here and quite a few Marines. If he targets down the hatchery, he can just get that. The mutas are coming in. They're not getting the greatest shots here. He really needs to keep this hatch alive, but he won't be able to. Rush gets the base. It's totally worth it here, even if he loses every single Marine now.
Yeah, I'm not too sure I like how Shine went about this, engaging these Marines. He's kind of lost this hatchery, which is all the gas he needed to win this game. So he's now down 300 gas per minute. He's not going to be able to make the amount that he needs. He can't really make Hive and Lurkers and Defilers and his upgrades. It's just, there's too much for him to do right now. He hasn't got enough gas, so he's going to have to make a cut somewhere. He's probably going to be cutting on grades or something, or at least not making too many Lurkers for the foreseeable future. That's going to be put him in a tight situation. He's still okay, though. He's not dead, but the problem is that these Valkyries coming out now, doing so much damage to the stack of mutas, and that's going to allow Rush to come out onto the map once more. And there's not really a third base to defend for Shine, so instead he's going to be trying to maybe play a little bit tactically here and see if he can get maybe a whole position Lurker on these bioforces moving up, because he knows there's not going to be any vessels anytime soon. So there's a small chance that Rush makes a mistake here, so maybe there's a whole position play that could turn the tide.
Oof, losing 3 overloads here is very rough. This is a bit of growing pains, I think. This map right now is quite new. I don't think Shine has completely mapped everything out, and Rush just getting advantages from playing completely standard and putting on regular pressure that Shine should know how to handle. But this map is just a little bit different. The 2 racks play got him a really good advantage here, where it really shouldn't have in a normal game on a normal map.
Yeah, that was the main catalyst here of this game, was that 2 racks timing destroying the third base. Had that base been in the top left, or had this been a +1 engineering bay play instead of a 2 racks, this would have been a different game. But instead, Shine's in a really precarious situation here, unable to get this third gas online and is struggling for life. Defiler amount is going up, but mutas getting on top of these Valkyries will be able to take out this threat for the time being. But unfortunately for him, he's lost air dominance, and now he's kind of focused on holding on for dear life, and he still doesn't have this third gas online. So nothing's going well for him at this point in time. But if he can survive just a few minutes longer, get this third base online, get the Dark Swarm set up on this little choke catwalk, it will be very hard for Rush to attack into here. So there is still a bit of life in the tunnel for Shine, except it's not glowing very brightly for him right now.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. We don't have a science vessel just yet, but we're going to have scans, and with 3 tanks, we can start to take out these lurkers very quickly. Shine will have to recognize that those are coming and immediately unburrow and back away. Oh, he can get some damage here. The cold position lurker is not going to get him a bunch of marine kills, but he might be able to get a kill on a tank. Maybe he can come in with these Scourge. He's trying to get on top of the science vessel. He gets 1 hit, but he does not get the second. And the lurkers run forward there for a moment, losing another one of those. Very, very painful for Shine. I think this is just about the end. We have the Defiler here, but we don't have any time left.
I think he's just got Consume finished now. He's got like a few moments left until Consumer's ready. I think any second now Consumer's done. He's desperate for a few extra seconds. 10 more seconds, I think, until Consumer's ready.
Consume upgrade has to be finishing here soon, but there's the push forward here by Rush. He really wants to end this game right here, right now. Great targeting with the lurker, but the last lurker falls before the Consume upgrade is ready. He throws down a Dark Swarm, but that's it. GG. Shine has to tap out, and Rush takes game number 1. Okay, we've got Mini coming out. This is hilarious, actually, right? We had Best take the spotlight in week number 1. Snow never got to play. Then Snow took the spotlight in week number 2. Now we've got Mini being sent out here first. He wants to take the spotlight. Can he take down Rush and go on a killing spree or not? We're going to see here. Dark Origins, our first map, with Rush down in the bottom right, Mini in the top left. Will we see another Protoss domination week of KCM?
Well, these are professional pool players, you know. They clear the entire table off the break, so we might not see another Protoss player for the remainder of the series, you know what I mean, sir?
That's what he'd be looking to do for sure.
We might even see a save the best for last type situation at the very least. But yeah, let's see what Mini can bring out to the table. He's a bit of an emotional player, but if he does get into his highs, he's extremely high. So it would be nice to see that. Going to be seeing an attempted gas steal from him. There's no way Rush can now secure the gas. Unless he went for a very early sort of 10 gas timing where he made a cut for it, and he's not going to be able to do that. So yeah, this gas stealing is going to be a little bit of an annoyance for him to deal with. He will have to pull some SCVs to kill that or go for a bunker expand.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that Rush has dealt with a million times, and unlike some of the other maps we've got here, like Blitz, why this is not a map that the players are unfamiliar with. This has been on the ladder for quite some time. Not my favorite map in the world, Dark Origin, but it is a pretty standard map now, and players are very used to playing on it, and Rush shouldn't have a trouble handling this early gas steal. It's totally expected here.
Yeah, I'm liking this little battle of the workers here between the SCV and the probe. Mini kind of coming out on top, as you would expect. The probe's nimbleness and the range of the particle cannon, the particle beam, sorry, being superior to the short little stubby arms of the SCV and his little tiny little fusion cutter.
Yeah, that SCV will make its way in. It sees the Zealot coming across the map, so some pressure coming here from Mini to follow up this early probe control and harassment. But Rush should be able to handle it with his little supply depot wall, and of course the barracks here gonna give him a nice place to micro. Oh. Go on.
I really like this micro adjustment from Rush here because, okay, this is not how usually you handle this build. You usually keep the SCVs attacking the gas for longer. Instead, this here, he preempted, he anticipated the timing of the Zealot on the ramp and stopped killing the gas to kind of meet the Zealot on the ramp to kind of optimize and then move down to secure his expansion quicker. It's a really tight situation. He's trying to thread the needle right now, but he needs to be careful. The Zealot's getting on top of the Marines. He needs to dance his back into the bunker desperately, but he's not got a good enough body block on those Zealots. They're getting on top of the 2 top Marines, gets both of the snipes, and they're still not got any Marines in the bunker. Both dangerously low on HP, just 1 punch from this Zealot, and the probe can come down and finish these off as well. He's going to get both of these Marines in.
That just happened. Oh my god. Mini here.
Oh my god.
He's gonna take this game, isn't he? Gets another Zealot. No way. The dancing of the Marine. So painful there. They just couldn't get in the bunker. I mean, I like what you were saying, you know, pulling off the SCVs to really aggressively take that natural. I mean, it would have worked out. Had it worked out, it would have been amazing, but getting in there. Mini getting on top of those Marines, you know, glitching them out. Getting another kill here. It's insane. He's got 3 kills on this Zealot. It's still wandering around inside the main and killing Marines, and there's nothing in this bunker. The Dragoon follow-up, the Dragoon can just run by. It's just gonna run right by this bunker. Oh, we don't have a Dragoon. Okay, we've got another Zealot coming up here, but the Nexus was much faster. He's got a great economic position here.
Yeah, but he knows there's no Vulture, and with the low Marine count, this Zealot's going to be tougher to deal with. So we got an extra Zealot coming in here to put on a little bit of pressure, while Mini's getting tons of pros being made back at home, already making a lot of workers. Getting on top of this Marine as well. This is so frustrating for Rush. He was trying to thread the needle and optimize his defense to kind of get an explosive advantage against Mini, and it's really heavily backfired against him. He almost had it down, but didn't quite have the control and execution required to prevent those Zealots getting on top of his Marines. Unfortunately, we have another Zealot just streamlining in. Mini's trying to keep the pressure on while his economy is ramping up right now and really starting to put the pressure on Rush.
Yeah, just 3 Marines here. It should be enough to handle the Zealot, but you need that block with the SCVs. Pretty good block so far from Rush, but another Zealot making its way in here. Mini not letting up the pressure, and Rush has had SCVs off the line for such a long time. He hasn't been able to stabilize his economy. He's going to lose even more Marines here. 3 Marines going to go down, and another Zealot running by that bunker. Here comes the machine shop. He's gone for a machine shop instead of a Vulture. That is surprising to me, to say the least. He wants to get the tank out here so that he can, you know, stop the Dragoon from hitting his bunker that's going to be coming up here shortly. But, I mean, we really could use a Vulture right now. We're still losing Marines in the main base.
Yeah, Rush he understands that he needs the tank for the next phase of the game, so he has to do this. If he doesn't want to do this, he'd really like to have all these Marines like doing their job and being able to clear up these Zealots, but he's in a really rough situation right now. He just won't have the units required, most likely, to deal with the Reaver follow-up from Mini. With some good micro, should be able to take out a lot of his SEVs at the very least, so I'm a little bit worried for Rush right now going forward. He's still not out of this game necessarily, but it's going to be really tough for him to catch up. He's throwing down an armory. Maybe he can get out Goliath or 2 to help deal with the shuttle play in the next few minutes, but it's going to be really tough for him coming forward.
I tell you what, if Rush manages to win this game, that's going to tilt Mini to the ends of the earth, man. This guy is going to be lost in ASL. I don't think he's going to win this season if he loses this game. This is going to be a mental scar for him, because this game is so in his favor here. He's got a 20 supply advantage nearly. He's going to grab a 3rd base here. He's so safe right now. There's nothing that Rush can do to try and push and pressure him. He's just going to have a Reaver out. He's going to get some harassment. Going to force out the tax here, the Protoss tax. Going to get some repair going. Does go directly into siege mode. So you can just see how defensive Rush is being here. He went tank first with siege mode. It's not even a build anymore that pro players use, but he had to do it here because he wasn't able to get those Vultures out because he was so pressured in the early game.
Yeah, the Siege Expand style is a very old way of playing this matchup. It's very good for new players learning the game, but it's definitely not like the modern meta way of playing. This is the only option he's got available to him in this current climate to really deal with what Mini has done to him in the early game. And we see the shuttle now sharking its way into the main base, just hungry for some juicy SUVs. Sees the turret, so it's going to be dropping at a distance to take that out. Allows a little bit of time for the siege tanks to move into position to try and get a shot off on that Reaver. Gets picked up nicely, tanks the shot on the Zealot, and then the Reaver Scab connects to the tanks before they have a time to unsiege and get away. And the Dragoons popping into the natural for them, taking out that siege tank there as well. So nice little double-pronged attack from Mini, taxing the multitasking ability of Rush and doing damage on both fronts. Needs to be careful not to lose too many Dragoons in the natural expansion, but can start to pay tax Rush a little repair bill and frustrate his multitasking a little bit at the front, while also threatening this counter-attack into the main base with the Reaver and shuttle play. Rush is not feeling too happy right now. Here comes the bust from Mini as well, again on top of this bunker zone.
Yeah, he's just gonna bust the bunker, jumps forward, kills the tank here with the 4 Dragoon. Cannot repair this bunker here with the Reaver hitting it. You're gonna lose all your SCVs. So he's busted open this position, and he's just making life miserable right now for Rush. One more shot here with the Reaver. He does take the shot on the turret instead of another SCV kill. Unfortunate there for Mini, but he will be backing off here with the low HP Reaver as he takes his 3rd and continues to just torment Rush in this game. More and more gateways coming down here, and Citadel as well. He has all the options in the world. He can go for anything that he wants right now, and it's going to be up to Rush to find a way back into this game.
It's going to be a 3-tank move out with 4 Goliath support. It's the kind of tank Goliath composition I thought he would go for to try and deal with this shuttle play cost efficiently. It's kind of his only tool in his arsenal he can really use to deal with the situation. But it's going to be really tough for him with the lack of mobility of these units to kind of go back into the main base and deal with these drop harassments while also trying to move out onto the map. It's kind of a nightmare situation for Rush right now. He doesn't have enough forces to mobilize out onto the map and defend at the same time. He can start to snipe these observers in his main base and shut down the scouting of Mini, but Mini doesn't really care about that. He's already churning out his production. He's got his 3rd base online right now, plenty of gateways online, and he's got some grades. Taking a 4th base now on curve as well. So Mini's looking really strong, and Rush is not looking too happy at all.
No, why not? Take that 4th base here. You've got plenty of money to work with as Mini. More and more gateways coming down here. We're going to have some sort of desperation timing attack, I think, from Rush to try and win this game pretty soon. But with these extra gateways coming up, I don't think it's going to be possible. I don't know if he can even move out right now. Looks like he might get the shuttle. He does get the shuttle. The Reaver gets another great shot there, though, onto these Goliaths and tanks. And he gets a couple more tanks. He gets most of the Goliaths. Just will back away for now. And he should have Zealot speed on the way. With all of these gateways pumping, I don't think Rush can push out with this army.
Yeah, Mini's trying to shave off enough tanks that Rush can't do this 2-base timing attack that he wants to do out onto the map right now. If he does keep shaving off the tanks, Rush won't have enough potency, but at the moment it looks like there's just barely enough forces for Rush to start to come out here and maybe start to think about taking this 3rd, or just go for a 2-base all-in push timing and try to do a Hail Mary attempt here. We have 5 factories worth of production. There is technically enough production here to get something done if he's able to win some of these trades. It's going to be very difficult for him to win some of these trades. Once he comes out on past these bridges, like, it's really tough for him to get into a favorable position here, so it's going to be a little bit of a sticky situation for Rush going forward. He has got some vultures moving into the 3rd base location now. There's 1 cannon online to slow this down, but he's going to target some of these probes and try and siphon off some of the economic prowess of Mini. But the Reaver coming in and taking all 3 of those out of 1 Scarab is going to be a cost-efficient way of dealing with that.
Yeah, I think that he needs more from his army than just killing a couple of probes. He needs to kill a base right now, and he's going to come up here and try to kill this 4th, but look at how small this army is. And compared to what Mini is bringing to the table here, it's kind of insane. He's going to take a couple more shots with this Reaver, but it's not even really necessary that he gets damage with this Reaver right now. He's going to get more tanks, but look at all the Zealots and Dragoons coming up. GG is called. Mini takes that game and knocks Rush out. Well then, the Zerg squad going to send out Hyun next to take on Mini, the Protoss Wolverine. Does he have what it takes here on Polypoint to take him down? I think Mini is going to be feeling very good after that last game and ready to take his own all kill. Maybe, I guess he can't get double all kill here, right? But maybe he can get his own all kill.
Yeah, Mini wants the path of the Pasagi to persist here, and he wants his own little road of royalty so he can be crowned king of the Protosses this week at least.
Yeah, he's got some big shoes to fill, right? He's coming in after Snow and Best already got their big wins in week 1 and week 2, so he should be feeling a little bit of pressure here, but also with Snow and Best in the back pocket, like, you're not going to be feeling too much pressure to win right now as Mini. Definitely, you're going to get you have some good backup here. If you're Protoss right now, you're feeling pretty decent.
It'd be hard not to feel confident in his position, yeah, especially for the sake of his team. We see the double scout coming out from the Forge Fast expansion, not going to want to put on any early pressure. You can sometimes see a cannon rush from this position, but I don't think Mini will elect for that either. I think he just wants to confirm what's going on as soon as possible, be extra safe against the likes of Hyun. Hyun is a very aggressive style of player, can put the pressure on you really early on.
And he does have that early spawning pool, so going for an over pool here. We'll be grabbing his natural now, and could go for some lings. He doesn't have the scout just yet, so it remains to be seen how many lings he's actually going to produce. He would rather see with the drone first what you're going to be going up against before making any of these eggs into either Zerglings or drones, but it looks like he's not going to take that option. He builds 4 lings immediately, and I think he's going to end up regretting that.
Yeah, well, basically, you've got 2 choices. You can either scout the Protoss early, or make the 4 Zerglings anyway, or delay making anything and wait to scout him delayed. And he selected to go for the 4 Zerglings guarantee, just in case it was Gateway first. And he's gonna be a little bit sad about that because this doesn't line up with Forge Fast Expand quite as nicely. You do get the eggs making quicker, but it doesn't really matter because you can't really do anything with these 4 links besides deny the scout. So a little bit of a small win here for Mini in the early game phase, but it's only a small adjustment.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is you could potentially just save that extra larva and make a drone here. So -1 drone here for Hyun. But it shouldn't be a massive impact. It's just those small optimizations that if you are like an aggressive player like this, you talk about this a lot, Shun, is that you do have to optimize things very, very well so that you can hit these timings where you can actually do something against a Protoss as strong as Mini.
Yeah, and Mini's are very good at doing his own optimizations as well. So if you don't do your own optimizations, you might just be behind anyway, much less be able to do something to him. So yeah, very important to squeeze out any potential value you can as Zerg. And it is one of the races where you can mineral optimize more than the other races due to the fact that the hatchery is a different shape than the Nexus and CC because it has the hitbox of a hive, despite only being a hatchery.
Now this is very interesting. Mini, look at this. He's going for a second gateway before gas, and he's just gonna keep pumping out zealots, and he's gonna come out with a really awkward timing. He's gonna have a lot of more zealots than what Hyun is expecting, and he might be able to get a lot of damage with that.
Yeah, I mean, right now it is cross maps. There is a little bit of a delay, and he's not seeing these zealots being moved out onto the map. The second overlord may see them, but yeah, if he doesn't suspect this, he may be caught with his pants down just a little bit. He knows the timings though of when the zealots will be out, so he'll make an additional pair of lings. So he should have at least 6, but he needs his star sense to kick in right now because he needs a lot more than 6 Zerglings.
Yeah, this is not looking good actually. I think that we might see a couple of lings being made, a couple of drones being made, and Mini's gonna come in here and potentially get a lot of damage with these 3 zealots. We know his control is immaculate, and he's got a probe here as well to work with. That's actually enough lings. This might be okay for Hyun. If he's popping out a couple more, he might still be able to hold on to this, but it's gonna come down to the control between these 2 players. He's gonna block the ramp here. The lings are going to go around. The next 2 zealots, though, are a real problem. They're going to come over here to the right-hand side. They do see the lings and turn around, trying to head over here and actually help out these zealots on the ramp. We have to take this fight very carefully as Hyun, because if we don't, we're going to end up getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, we can't afford to bleed off a single Zergling if we can help it. Hyun did a good job of like shuffling around his Zerglings to buy as much time as possible. Mini's being very annoying right now. With only 2 zealots on the ramp, he can start to transfer drones over safely because his 2 shots will not kill a drone. But now, Mini being a little bit annoying, coming over to his second base location to try and put on the pressure, gets behind the mineral and gas, and with the probe helping out the zealots, they can 2-shot lings still. So it's really troublesome for the Zerg players to deal with. But look at this on the right-hand side though, good surround on these zealots. Actually, Hyun looking okay here. If he can stop any drones dying, he's actually in a pretty good situation. But he needs to be careful. The zealots get on top of the drones in the third base location while he's distracted. Drone drilling in the natural expansion. If he's losing drones at third, he's in trouble here. But so far, pretty good trades in the natural. Not losing too many drones. But there's not quite enough Zerglings to deal with this. So he's have to evacuate, and he's losing a lot of mining tame right now, Sam.
Yeah, he's going to have to send the lings from the third over to the natural to stop this. And then the next 2 zealots are going to come in over here into the third. That's going to be a real problem. He has to pull the drones here from the third base. Some more lings are going to pop out, so he should be able to stabilize here, but how much time has been bought by Mini? Oh my god, these zealots just dancing on top of each other, actually giving Hyun a bit of respite here. He was looking to be in a rough position, but he gets rid of all those. That's a lot of lings. Oh my god. They can deal with the next few zealots, and Mini's his tech is a little bit later because he did go for that second gateway a little earlier. Before the gas, it's going to be a little bit slower on the tech, but overall, I think Mini's pumped out a ton of probes here, and he's going to have a great follow-up timing.
Yeah, these Zerglings are going to pay off because of the Mini's aggression and moving out with these Zealots. But if he was a lot more casual with these Zealots and didn't come out onto the map, these extra Zerglings would have been a little bit of an issue for Hyun. The fact that he pumped so much extra Zerglings and didn't make any mutas or anything yet. Yeah, so that's actually kind of a weird situation. He's going to have to drone up now instead, and then maybe think about doing some kind of Ogre Zerg play, or maybe just transition to making Hydras, but he might go for making some mutas, so he just wants to stabilize with these Zerglings for the time being. Mini currently has a Stargate and will be starting to produce some Corsairs to both scout and deal with any kind of potential muta threat. But I don't think he's had to make any cannons for defense back at home because of this Zealot pressure, so he's been able to get away with murder right now, not having to make any defenses against mutas.
Oh, these lings just running in one by one. I don't know what's wrong with the AI there, but for whatever reason, those lings just did not want to line up and actually fight the Zealots properly. He loses one more drone here, clearing out these Zealots. Very frustrating loss for Hyun, who's already been slowed down so much. I guess something happened in the natural as well. We just saw the drones get pulled away there. Not many drones here in the natural at all. I guess they're being transferred back now. Creep colony's going down because he's really transitioning into this meta play. But I think Mini's going to be fine here. He's got a great economy. He's got a 20 supply advantage right now. This is a bit rough. A lot of gateways coming in. He's got plenty of cannons back at home. Ogre Zerg's probably not going to work because he's still producing Corsairs. He should be getting the +1. Yes, he is indeed getting that +1. And yeah, he hasn't lost any Corsairs thus far. He's going to be feeling very good. There should be an Overlord going down in the natural right now, and that should supply block Hyun as well. Okay, so not actually going for that Overlord. Kind of funny. That's maybe just over caution here from Mini, not taking that Overlord, because he could definitely get that for sure, but maybe he's worried about Scourge being right there.
Yeah, he's probably worried about just any potential small missteps. He knows how safe he is as houses if he just gets everything online right now. So, and he's waiting for that 6 Corsair timing where he can one-shot Scourge before moving them out of the safety of the cannons. And he's got 2 cannons in the main base, so he's very safe against Ogre Zerg. Now with the 6 Corsairs, he feels very confident to start coming onto the map with his forces and putting a lot of pressure onto Hyun right now. And Hyun is trying to transition into that Hydra switch, but it's going to be a little bit of time before he can get any Hydras out to fight this army. So we mainly mutas dealing with this, and there is an Archon as well. So it can come down. Oh, he's got a Carapace upgrade on the air actually, so he can fight this. He can fight for air superiority here with the +1 Carapace.
Yeah, he's being forced to make a lot of defenses here, though. Mini is just going to head home with this. He unfortunately did make his first 2 Templar into an Archon, thinking that he could go for a fight here, but that's still fine. You know, he's got the Archon. It's a great part of the army going forward, and he might just transition fully into Dragoon here. If I'm playing this game, I mean, I'm not a Protoss player, but breaking with Dragoon is very, very strong in a position like this. You spent so much money on those defenses. If you can just come forward with the Dragoons and kill off the hatcheries at the front over there at the natural, it's going to be so powerful. All right, he's actually diving in here. He's going to go for an attack. The positioning is very good for Hyun, though. The surround on the drone with the drones is amazing. He's going to clean most of these Zealots up for free.
Yeah, with the +1 Carapace on these air units, these Corsairs are not as scary as they should be as well. So he's going to take some HP off of the Archon shields with some Zerglings as well, softening that up, making it threatened to being sniped by like 2 or 3 volleys from these mutas now as well. So a lot of pressure being applied to Mini. He's going to try and shut down the attempts at this 3rd base being taken, maybe, or at the very least come in here and kill some High Templars and threaten a lot of pressure in this natural expansion area and kind of make Mini as uncomfortable as possible. There is no additional Archons being... Oh, he's losing some of these Scourge. He needs to be careful here not to siphon off too many of these Scourge. He needs to come in and just pounce on this army position. Now, Big Storm comes in on the Scourge to try and clean up. Doesn't connect very well, though. Few of the Corsairs are remaining. Only 3, though, to a whole stack of mutas. Here's another flood of just a huge armada of Scourge coming in to keep the pressure on now. This Archon is still alive, but it's got about 200 HP worth of shield, so just 3 volleys from these mutas and it will die, but it will also destroy the mutas stack in like 2 or 3 volleys itself as well. So needs to be careful on both sides. Double-edged sword for both players trying to deal with this kind of like small skirmish mini game right now, trying to jostle for position. So far, Mini's kind of coming out on top because he is getting his 3rd base online, is making Archons and has maintained some Corsair count, but now we see Hyun trying to come into the main base, see if he can snipe some of these High Templars and stuff critically, getting a little bit of damage on some of the probe train going down. A few isolated High Templars will be sniped. Oh, beautiful storm on that stack. What just happened, Satan?
Oh my god, that was so many kills from that one storm. Absolutely ridiculous. We do have a Hydraless transition, but losing the mutas like that. You just heard it there, GG. The casters in the Korean booth are actually calling it already. This is a very rough position here for Hyun. Losing all your muta list to just a single storm. I think he got 1 Templar out of that. But it is just so rough right now. He's moving around the map with his Hydras, but look at how many Zealots are available. It's just a full-on Zealot attack here from Mini now, with the Archons just kind of backing things up. They're not even really necessary here, though, anymore, because we've got no more mutas to work with. Look at all the Zealots coming up here, man. Hyun is fighting with every single Hydra that he's got, but he has to have perfect micro here, and I still think that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, he's trying to desperately make a round of drones as well. He needs to saturate his 4th base soon. He just doesn't have enough Hydras to defend this. He needs lurkers, doesn't have those, doesn't have any mutas left either. So he has nothing in his arsenal to fight this big threat of Zealots right now. And he's going to have to retreat all the way to the safety of his Sim City. And he's going to lose this 4th base and lose any hope that he has got to challenge this 3rd base of Mini. And that's going to be his lifeline just completely severed and evaporate his chances of winning.
Yeah, the Zealots here are going to continue to push back the Hydras. Taking a bad trade does not really matter right now, and even Mini sending forward the Corsair at this point, going to start to kill the Overlords as well. Hyun is just falling apart everywhere. Zealots are going to be transferred. You're catching those rallying Hydras and now going in for this big clump of Overlords. Oh man, this is definitely the killing blow. If not killing the 4th base, killing all of these Overlords is going to force Hyun out of this game. And he is making lurkers right now, but it's just so late. He built so many Scourge earlier. I guess that, you know, really, Mini looked at the game state and he thought, you built that many Scourge, that many mutas, there's no way you can have a bunch of lurkers ready at this point. And so he just floods Zealots for the win. Gonna kill a bunch more Overlords here, and he does have to retreat for now, but he has all the time in the world. He has all of the advantage in the world here to do whatever he wants from this position.
Yeah, it's really rough to watch this. It's going to be a really hard game to deal with as a Protoss player. I feel like this is going to be a very tough nut for Hyun to swallow here, saying going forward. Losing all of those mutas to a single storm. As a pro gamer, I feel like that's got to sting more than anything, because there's no reason you should be losing a whole clump to one storm like that. Really, really crazy stuff to see. It was almost like Mini anticipated the back and forth motion of the mutas and stormed in the perfect place, and just like caught them on like the turnaround just barely quick enough that they didn't have enough time to get out of the storm. It's crazy what we just saw in that storm action.
That storm was brutal, absolutely brutal, and I think we're gonna see a spore come up here at the 12 o'clock finally from Hyun. Wants to keep those Overlords alive, and a spore is gonna be the best way to do that for now. These Corsairs are still sharking around looking for more kills, and really, Hyun cannot afford to build any more Scourge at this point. He cannot afford to build even a single pair right now, because lurkers are everything in this position. He has to hold this high ground, and it is going to be a desperate hold here if he manages to pull it off. Looks like just barely out of range of this spore, hilariously enough, that DT might be able to pick off some of these drones working on the gas guys. There are great storms here, and he's pushing forward with the Mass Dragoon play to follow this up. Gonna break through everything. No way for Hyun to hold on. He is gonna have to tap out. GG. There he goes. Mini on a killing spree here, taking out both Hyun and Rush so far. Can he get more? Okay, Mong is coming out next here versus Mini. Mini on a killing spree so far, looking to repeat the past here, repeat history once again, get another all kill. He just needs to get through Mong here, and then one more Zerg player, and then back over to Terran one last time, and he will be able to make that happen. But I'm praying that we can see a victory from Mong in this game. I want to see a little bit more back and forth. I'm still not convinced that Protoss isn't going to go out first in this series, but I really feel like Mong could do this and actually take out Mini at least.
I mean, he is the monster macro powerhouse in TVP. If anyone can do it, it's Mong. I'm rooting for him. I mean, we have got Royal waiting in the wings as well, but yeah, Mong's really strong in this matchup. He can just survive any initial shenanigans from Mini. Might be seeing a little bit of a Terran victory here, and then I'm kind of rooting for Mini falling apart mentally, just on that reason that we all see an interesting series go back and forth a bit and see the other primates come out of the jungle.
Yeah, still Snow and Best waiting in the wings, man. They're
Crazy to think
clicking their
about.
fingers, yeah, cracking their knuckles, ready for their turn. Some big, some big apes in the back. They're going to be rooting for Mini here, and I mean, it feels like Mini is on fire right now. You know, we always say that Mini is an emotional player. He sometimes performs, sometimes does not, and we'll see if it's a full moon tonight for the Protoss Werewolf.
I mean, it may be.
Yeah, it
I'm
seems like
really
he's
hoping
transformed. It seems like he's gone into beast mode.
Yeah, I mean, Mong's a big guy, though. Maybe, you know, he's got enough weight to throw around to hold his own against the werewolf that's currently transformed, and maybe have some werewolf barbecue or something to fatten himself up and feel even more satisfied with himself. But remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. I'm hoping so, though.
Yeah, Mong, this is his best matchup for sure, and we're here on Citadel. We talked about it a bunch before the game started, but it's a difficult map for Terran to take a third base. You can take this third here, what we're seeing right on screen right now, that mineral only, but the opening is so wide. There's so much space for the Protoss to try and break you. And if you try to take the 9 o'clock here, it's very difficult to stretch yourself out that direction because there's a whole bunch of unbuildable terrain with all these rocks. So there's no real easy answer here for the Terran player, and I'm really curious to see what Mong decides to do in this game.
Yeah, and it's also cross map as well, so it's even less likely that he'll go for something like a 4-fact or 5-fact push. He may still do that. It'd be interesting to see if he does elect to go for that. I do think he's most likely going to take this mineral only base, but maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe he's got a little plan for this map thought out that we have not maybe considered.
Generally, I feel like Protoss has the advantage when it comes to brand new maps like this, especially kind of crazier maps that are difficult to figure out. You know, the Terran, the onus is on them to defend perfectly in a lot of cases, and the Dragoon is such a versatile unit for defense that a lot of the time it's not that difficult to defend on any map with the Dragoon, whereas, you know, defending with turrets and bunkers and mines and all that kind of thing, it takes a lot more precision, and it does take a little bit more time to flush out. So we'll see if that comes into play here. Mini gonna come up from both sides now with his 2 Dragoons, try to get on top of this ridge. He's missing a lot of shots here. Great utilization of this high ground ridge, blocking the Dragoons from getting up on top of that and not losing his vulture. He's even gonna chase down the Dragoon. Hiding underneath the tree there is kind of cute because there is mischance underneath a tree, but it doesn't end up working out for Mini. He loses the Dragoon. Very, very good for Mong this start.
What a beautiful vulture block from Mong, denying the goons from meeting up on one side and preventing the micro potential, as well as maintaining the high ground advantage the entire time. And the early game in initial engagement of the 1 vulture 2 marine to shave off the HP of the Dragoon as well. Like, I'm really impressed with Mong's play so far. He demonstrates such an understanding of TVP that usually you only see rivaled by the likes of someone like Flash or Mind or someone, those much more thoughtful guys. But yeah, Mong seems to just get this matchup more than the other players seems to.
Yeah, for sure, and it's reflected in his stats. He definitely has great statistics in TVP, and he's gonna get some mines here laid down, but Mini with great micro control gonna lay down, get rid of all of these mines and keep the... Oh, can he actually keep this vulture out? He's gotta control this Dragoon here. He will control the Dragoon and block this vulture. Oh, he just barely doesn't block the vulture from getting away. So 1 vulture does escape, but he picks off all those mines and he gets rid of a vulture. Pretty good engagement there for Mini.
Yeah, critically keeping that vulture alive is so important. It has like 2 mines left on it, so now we can plant that mine at 6 o'clock and somewhere else. And this is such good scouting information as Terran. You feel so much more safer when you've got this kind of intel and this kind of coverage out on the map, allowing you to feel out the ebb and flow of the game more. And it's so important and crucial that you keep those vultures alive. Even if you can get in there and kill a couple of probes, generally speaking, the mines are more valuable than those probe snipes potentially. So Yeah, I really do like seeing Terran players optimize their early game, keeping the pressure on while also keeping the vultures alive to kind of, double dip and get both value here.
2-gate expansion here with the, or 2-gate into the third base here for Mini, so taking some liberties with his economy. Just having an observer out here and no robotic support bay just yet. He won't have Reavers out for some time, but this is a nice defensive play for Mini. And he shouldn't take any economic damage here. We are going to have 3 vultures running in. Okay, he just backs away after seeing the Dragoon ready and waiting. And what are we seeing from him? Okay, we've already got the armory spinning here. Has a good amount of tanks. Is he going to be taking a third base or not? Will he be going for a big timing attack? That's what this observer is here to find out.
Yeah, right now it's looking like no is the answer to that. We don't see any crazy amounts of factories being laid down just yet, and if it was going to be something like a 5-factory push, you'd kind of would expect a lot more than just 2 factories right now. So I think Mini's going to be realizing, okay, so there's nothing really going to be coming out anytime soon. At least we might see like a 3-tank pressure, maybe, but I think it's with the cross-map consideration, I think that's really unlikely, and I think Mini knows that too.
Yeah, Mini here. Giving into Reaver now. He is spreading his dragons very nicely. Oh, the block! Beautiful block there. And he's going to utilize these dragons perfectly with the hold position micro to pick off every single vulture. That was complete denial there in, like, what, 6? Vultures getting picked off for free? A great pickup by Mini.
Yeah, bleeding off the vultures like this early makes you a lot more comfortable going forward. You don't have as many units to soak up the vultures later, the zealots later on. No vultures to shave off the shields of the dragoons during the engagements. Makes you not want to be safe in taking your third base anytime soon as Terran. So yeah, right now kind of the world is Mini's oyster, and he's going to demonstrate that by just coming out onto the map, swinging his weight around and taking out all the mines that he can find, clearing the path for the shuttle critically here. As you can see, he's kind of escorting the shuttle across the map so the mines can't scout the shuttle on the way, because right now the Terran's kind of hoping of seeing this being intercepted on the way so he can kind of react and optimize against it. But instead, it could be like a little bulldog play, just trying to bust down the front maybe.
With 4 glides here, no range, but still difficult to run in there with the shuttle. Oh, he's going to take big shots. The range just finished. Perfect timing here. Coming in and picking off that shuttle, but the Dragoons can get 1 tank in return. Leading off a couple of Dragoons here. That was a great play by Mong. You know, he revealed that he didn't have range, and so Mini felt safe, and then the range finished perfectly on time there. He ran forward and gunned down that shuttle. Really, really interesting. A decisive play out of Mong.
Yeah, really impressed by him. And also he has the perfect amount to 2-shot a shuttle. 4 Goliaths, perfectly 2-shot shuttles, which is why you'll see Terran players go up to 4 so often. It's like the optimal amount of Goliaths to make until they have carriers, basically.
He doesn't have those 4 anymore, but he will be moving forward here with 2. Spreading out, and I guess we have our answer. Looks like he's going to be taking the mineral only here at the front as he builds the CC in the main to float out. And yeah, it is tough. I mean, this is a good position to be on this ridge, but it's a very skinny ridge. Look, we can only fit 3 tanks up there, so only 3 tanks will benefit from the, high ground mischance. And we saw, was it last week, Best just crack through, or was it Snow, crack through the defenses of Light on this map when he was trying to take a third base, because that is so wide, because shuttle play is so strong. It's very easy to crack a Terran player who's taking this this mineral only here.
Yeah, I'm curious how much Mong will be scratching his head for how he wants to take this third base, because he's probably going to want to maybe take 9 o'clock instead and just hold this ridge line. I don't think he wants to take the mineral only the way he's playing right now. It looks like he instead wants to just like play like a bit of a Mihu style, build up a decent amount of units and then take his third base. But I'm not too sure how I feel about his approach to the game thus far, but I think he's figured something out that we haven't quite clocked on yet, and I think he's starting to figure out how to dismantle Mini in this game. But I'm a little bit concerned for him, because I still don't see how he's going to cover both the eastern ridge line and this the other ridge line to the south as well. Mini can put on pressure from two fronts here, as well as harassing him with a speed shuttle play. You can even do like a poor man's recall into the main base with lots of speed shuttles. It's really awkward for the Terran to deal with this.
You know, I like what Mong is doing, taking the center left. I was thinking that this would be the stronger play because you can put tanks down on the ridgeline. It's funny that he's not doing that at all. He's actually putting the tanks in the third base and keeping a contingent of tanks over at that ridgeline on the right-hand side. I thought he was going to keep most of the tanks on the ridgeline and have a few tanks down near the entrance just to cover the entrance going into the third, but he's really sieging up here in the third and leaving a lot of space open for Mini to maybe counterattack him over towards his natural. That ridge line is not very well defended. We do have a few turrets in the front, but there's a lot of shuttles here, and Mini is ready to bust something.
Yeah, I'm really worried about either a big speed shuttle play to bust open the sort of ridge line to his natural,
right
or
here, yeah.
like a big... Yeah, or right into the main base. You can also just have, like, you know, Reavers dropping into his main base, taking out his infrastructure. And it's really hard to get all your army back into the main base. And then by the time the army does get in there to do that, then we got the counterattack infantry coming into the third. So here we go.
Well, Mini actually going to attack directly into the third. This is not what I was anticipating. Immediate targeting of those Reavers is going to work out very well for Mong, and he will be unsieging everything and setting it down here to assist this, but maybe there's enough here for Mini to just overwhelm these positions. Wow, actually so many zealots breaking through here. Mong, is he just going to be broken right now? He's got quite a lot of minerals in the bank. Not enough vultures out here to actually deal with all these zealots, and Mini just going to keep shoving forward, killing off more dragoons, denying this third for now. He will back up, but this is a great move. A drop over in the center right is going to be harassing him right now. Tank and some vultures here, but the probes are just going to be pulled to surround that. It doesn't have enough health on that tank to actually fight these probes, hilariously enough. He will be holding on to that base.
Wow, really interesting stuff. We have 4 Templars coming into here, trying to get some storms to try and soften up some of these units and gets picking off those kills, gets the denial on those units, but some goons biting the dust on the retreat. Kind of interesting skirmish back and forth. Mini really putting Mong to task, but Mong is a specialist in this matchup, so he's also giving Mini the fight for his life. Mini, though, getting set up now with a lot of bases. 5th base going to be coming online for him soon, and Mong's going to have a little bit of a hard job of it to try and counter that. He is trying to do some pressure with these drops and harassments, but so far has been rather thwarted by Mini.
Mong gonna double expand here. He's retaking this base over at the 9 o'clock, and he's gonna take the mineral only at the same time. So doubling down here a little bit. He's gonna try and get these spaces operational as soon as possible. He's got a lot more turrets rebuilt over here, and the shuttle is gonna try to come in, try to get a big Templar drop. Templar gonna be thrown down here, and the shuttle survives. That's a big win here. With that shuttle surviving, he can come into the natural as well, try to get some more damage. Is there a turret there? Oh, there is one, but the shuttle makes it in. The storm comes down. He just deals a lot of damage to quite a few of these workers. One more storm should go down. One more storm, one more storm. He does get one more storm. 2 more workers and a vulture. Not bad for Mini there.
Wow, Mini's doing exactly what you should be doing at this phase of the game, which is softening and siphoning off as much of the Terran economy as you can. You don't necessarily need to kill tanks at this phase of the game. You just need to weaken the economy of the Terran. They can't replace the SCVs fast enough at this phase. So if you can kill a lot of SCVs, it's a real nightmare situation for him going forward. You see now Mini making his way forward. Needs to back off, though. It's a really entrenched position of Mong here. There's not a lot of tanks, but there's a deep minefield and a lot of units going in the wings. Oh, such huge mine hits in the center. 4 goons going down for free. Needs to be careful, and a lot of units got softened up by the splash damage of those mines as well. I mean, he's not going to want to engage anytime soon of losing all those hit points and a few extra units. So I think for the time being, Mong's going to have a lot of breathing room to remax, and actually Mong's looking pretty good right now. If he can remax and kind of prevent any further damage to him, I kind of like his position. It's just going to be tough for him to move out cross map to kind of deal with Mini right now, but Mini's elected to not set up a second rally point, Sam.
Mini getting a little frustrated here, I feel, and here comes the drop once again. This drop was held over from an earlier time. 8 kills on this tank. He got a big volley on some of those probes. This is great harassment here that's slowing Mini down even further and frustrating him even more.
Yeah, and he's going to get the council on his base in the bottom left. And like I just said, there's no second rally point, so there's only 1 point of attention that Mong needs to worry about, and that's getting over cross map to this one rally point of Mini, and then it's all lights out for him. So Mong's just going to be setting up for this big push right now. Mini knows that he's got his army up here to the north to try and buy time and force him to come. He's like basically saying like, chase me, chase me. He doesn't want him to attack right now, and he wants to threaten a counter attack. And we see the poor man Rico coming to natural expansion, just sorry, the third base bombing onto the SUV train, trying to get the storm on the exit, not quite killing those SUVs. One storm's not enough to do it if they're moving at full speed through the storm without any obstacles, but nonetheless going to be delaying the mining here and frustrating the efforts of Mong while also skirmishing at the mineral only. But I feel like this is going in Mong's favor thus far.
Mong hasn't really lost much army here. His army is still looking very strong, and Mini kind of feeding into him right now. He is going to get some zealots on top of these tanks and kill quite a few. A great storm there, a second follow-up storm. Going to kill a bunch of tanks as well. Great storms on top of these Goliaths and Vultures, but it looks like he will have to fall back onto this high ground. Mini, oh, a great storm there in the natural as well. These storms are really starting to pile up to a lot of damage onto the economy of Mong, and Mong has a bit of a supply lead right now. Look at this supply wall, the Great Wall of Mong here down at the bottom left. He's going to be able to stop any army from coming through there, but he's just taking so much damage from these drops.
I was thinking earlier that maybe you could approach this game like Flash approached Heartbreak Ridge and make these kind of like supply walls like he did on Heartbreak Ridge. Maybe that's a way of approaching this map, and it seems like, yeah, you can do this kind of thing. So yeah, maybe this is going to be a way of approaching this map for the later phases of the game. And it looks like he's coming to the mineral only base, just shutting that down. Mini's in full evacuation mode right now. He can't really come in to challenge this. There's some high templars sharking around, see if they can maybe get some good free storms. And he's going to get a lot of these vultures actually with these storms, which means there's not going to be a lot to soak up the vultures as the zealots in the coming battles. So that's one little light in the tunnel for Mini going forward. And with these 3 tanks shuffling over to take down the 6 o'clock base, there's another storm drop in the 9 o'clock base. Does react to it though. Mong doing a good job of not losing. He's going back into the storm. He just assumed there was no more energy, and he's going to lose so many SCVs for that costly mistake from Mong. Oh no, he got a little bit lazy there and paid the price for it.
Mong is doing so many things well right now, but defending against these Templar drops is not one of them. Here comes more Templar to throw down their storms. Can he get another big clump of SCVs? He gets another 4 or 5. Some more storms are going to go down here to try and keep these Templar alive, but the Vultures will finally overwhelm that. However, is that going to be good enough here to keep Mong in this game? I think we got the Nexus at 6 o'clock. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah, we did get the Nexus at 6. It's actually really rough because Mini's just becoming mined out at his main, and his natural will soon follow in the next minute as well, which means he'll be reduced to just a couple of mining bases, and that's not going to be looking good for him up against the powerhouse of Mong, who he's currently even supply with him. So yeah, going forward, Mong can just put the foot to the all the way down on the accelerator and just keep the pressure up, and Mini won't be able to keep up with him for much longer. There's a small window where Mong can just walk right over him, and he's looking like he's identified that, and he's going to start to really like squeeze Mini as much as he can. Mini's definitely going to go for the 9 o'clock yet again with some speed shells, it looks like, to try and do some more damage to Mong. Some more speed zealots and Reaver coming out here to try and do some more damage, and he's getting a lot of damage to the economy of Mong again and again at this 9 o'clock base. It's just been absolute pandemonium, Sam.
Yeah, he's lost so many SCVs, but look at how many probes are about to go down in the top right-hand corner. That's like a full 20 probes up there that's just gonna fall here in a moment. And Mini doesn't actually have any probes to transfer right now down to the 6. I mean, he's gonna have some soon because his natural's gonna run out, but he is gonna have to reproduce so many probes here. And Mong, although he's only mining on 1 base at the moment with very few SCVs, he's still got a reasonable army. And I don't think that Mini can match it. I think that Mong might have this one. It's so close right now. But maybe Mong can pull this one out. Mini moving through the middle of the map. He's forcing back a lot of these this army. If he could catch this army that's moving back from Mong up from the top right, maybe he could cut that off and kill it. That would really give him a good chance to come back in this game. But he's actually heading towards the 3rd.
There's currently 2 base versus 2 base at the moment, so it kind of disfavoring the Terran player. And with that 3rd base being harassed so much, the minerals will not be depleted for quite some time, so Mong's going to be sitting pretty as long as he maintains game state. Look at all these forces just streaming in. A beautiful D-Matrix trying to mitigate the damage of those storms and scarabs, but more and more storms are being levied out. There's not quite enough, though. These deep entrenched tank lines on that ridge has saved the day. Mini didn't quite identify just how deep the tank line went, and he went down the rabbit hole, and he kind of like got his arm just chewed off by Mong. Mong was hungrier than he anticipated.
Yeah, Mong gonna take some more damage to some storms here. Those few shuttles have been incredibly annoying, really stopping him from mining for quite some time. Finally, he does get a scan up there and deals with that. Another storm goes down, but I mean, we're mining something, I guess, right? How many SCVs do we even have in this game? Is it like 30 SCVs? I don't think so.
It's probably like 28 SCVs, maybe not even that, maybe 26. Yeah, I don't think a lot.
Another drop going to come in here to the center left. It's going to be killing off a lot of these SCVs that are so important right now, that have been so limited throughout this game. He does pick off the shuttle. We'll get the Reaver, actually. So saving the majority of these SCVs, very, very good for Mong. And he's going to send those back to work and get to mining that mineral line so that he can pump out another army. 2-base to 2-base. He should be able to overwhelm eventually. It'll be up to Mini to take a really nice fight here and get another base online.
Yeah, right now both players kind of locked in a bit of a tug-of-war situation. Mini going to be getting that mineral only online, sneaking away again for this big flank attack on the northern flank, but D-Matrix shutting that down, just going to GG and tap out. Mini going to be taken out. Finally, Mong saving the day for the Terran race and preventing another path of Pusagi.
Wow, Mong, his bulk blocks out the full moon. Mini transforms back into just a skinny gamer and gets knocked out of this game. Impressive, impressive stuff from Mong, handling that Protoss player and stopping the rampage here from continuing in week number 3. We are going to have Mong now versus one of these Zerg players. The last Zerg player, in fact, is going to be Queen coming up here. Gonna jump into that now. Wow, okay, so Mong takes down Mini, and guys, crazily enough here, week number 3, set number 4 was the first loss for Protoss in this season. How crazy is that?
Actually mind-boggling, to be honest, Sam. Especially considering how deep into week 3 we were when the first loss transpired as well. It wasn't like it happened right away.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't know if we've had a run quite like that before, but it has been shut down now. Mong gonna go up against Queen here. We are in Apocalypse with Queen with the 12 o'clock and Mong down here in the bottom left, and this is not Mong's forte. This is one of his lower percentage win rate matchups, and I think he's gonna have to pull out something kind of funky here if he wants to take down Queen.
Yeah, we'll probably be seeing like an 8 racks into 1-1-1 or something like that. I kind of fear for him if he wants to play standard after his 8 racks and just try to transition into a normal SK game, but he just doesn't have the kind of like bio control required to fend off the muta pressure that the other Terran players tend to have. So it'll be a little bit worrying for him if he doesn't try something a little bit unorthodox. So we're seeing a little bit of pressure for him with the 8 racks, and then he maybe will transition to some sort of 1-1-1 play. He is the best in the business, I have to say, currently at doing mech switches, though. If he can get comfortable enough where he can do a mech switch in TVZ, he is so talented at executing that. He's one of the only people that make it look viable currently, and one of the only Terrans that has been brave enough to even attempt it in a pro setting as well.
I really rate Queen against mech switch, though. He's very, very strong. Like,
True.
He has some great tutorials online about how to play against mech. If you guys want to check those out, you can probably find them on, I don't know whose channel put that up, but there's a Discord for Zergs as well, and you can find that. Take a look at those. If you're struggling as a Zerg against mech, he has some great tutorials about how to utilize mutas and hydras and overwhelm the Terran player just with really good overall control. And here we go with the Marines coming forward here. He's going to try and get a bunker. This is going to be the gambit here for Mong. Can he get some good drone kills? give himself a lead where he can actually take a game against Queen. This is his gambit here. This is the thing that he thinks can actually get him a victory here against Queen. I don't know if it's going to work, but he's actually going to finish the bunker.
Yeah, he's got 5 drones out on the map, I think. That's just intercepted a Marine. They're trying to... Oh, sorry, 4 drones, excuse me. Was going to catch that Marine, but he's managed to survive for the time being, dragging these drones around. Hopefully he can maybe keep that Marine alive. I don't think so. I think he'll eventually get move shot down. And he's going to try and build up to about 12 lings or so, and then surround the bunker and kill it. With the 2 SEVs body blocking and repairing, maybe hard for him to get the cost-efficient kill on that bunker that he's looking for. We'll have some drones coming in from behind, though, to add a little bit of DPS.
Yeah, here we go. He's going to jump on top of the bunker. Great blocking here from Mong to keep the SCV. Oh, he dumped the SCV inside as well, trying to buy that time. Did a great job keeping the SCV alive for as long as possible, and it's going to save one of them, send them that one back home. Pretty decent by Mong, honestly. Having 3 Marines in the bunker is not what you want to have happen there as Queen. If you're going to pull a bunch of drones, you really want to run by and stop Marines from rallying forward so that there's less than 3 Marines. Like, you want to have like 2, maybe 1 Marine in that bunker, but he managed to get 3 in. He did a great job blocking with the SCVs, and he ended up jumping the SCVs in and out, so he keeps 1 of them alive. And yeah, I think it's a pretty decent spot here for Mong to go forward, but not what he wanted out of that bunker rush.
No, you ideally want to kill like 3 drones, and then you kind of rub your hands together and go home happy. 2 drones, you're kind of even. In this case, he kind of had a situation where he got like a good trade on the lings and bought some time and denied mining time. All those drones for quite some time, and it was a full pull of drones as well. 8 drones did come off the line initially, so did delay a lot of mining time as well.
Well, Queen gonna try to transition out of this. He's got quite a few lings out here, so this move out by Mong is a little bit questionable. Try to walk up a ramp, and we know that there's at least 5 lings out on the map. He might just get picked off immediately, but some of the lings are going to try and move in towards the natural, try to get some more information here. They do get blocked by Mong, who's going to send his Marines out once again. He doesn't have 2 racks here. What is his plan? What is his follow-up? I guess a second rack's going to come down now, but he did go for the +1 timing, so eBay +1 is going to be the follow-up here for Mong.
And that has been the meta as of late. Terrans have kind of shifted out of the 2-Racks Academy being the most popular opener, it seems. A lot of Terrans like getting that earlier eBay, which also shuts down the potential of things like Crazy Zerg. By having that earlier grade timing, kind of shuts down the potential of Zergs to go for these some of these interesting late game builds that they can overwhelm you with.
Right, so Rush in game number 1, he did the same sort of thing with the bunker rush, but he went into 2 racks. So that's, I guess, the reason why Shan was so thrown off guard, is this is the stock standard play, and Mong is going to go for that stock standard. I don't know if he can take down Queen, though. He doesn't have a huge advantage right now, and just Queen is such a solid player. Mong, I don't know if he's quite the caliber, the quality that can take down Queen in an even game with a stock standard build.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm a little bit worried about right now as well. He is making quite a lot of turrets. He has got the timing of the turrets pretty down and tidy right now, but the main issue is his bio control. He's not bad at it per se. He's just not at the caliber of some of these other Terrans like Light, who can keep his bio in a very tight ball at all times and react very fluidly to the movements of the Muto and have a more instinctual feel of how he should be navigating the early game harassment.
Yeah, someone like Mong, or someone like, someone like Rush, who can just handle the Marines perfectly, is going to be able to get a lot more value out of these early units than someone like Mong. Be pushing away these mutalisks now. They're hiding down here in the bottom left-hand corner, looking for some SCV kills as they can. Whatever they can get right now is very good, and you can see here he's targeting down the SCVs, trying not to engage with the Marines. This is indicative of a more standard play from Zerg. He wants to get a Lurker out here and eventually transition into Defiler for a more defensive mid-game until he can transition to his late-game tech.
Yeah, I really like Queen's mythology in this game. He's showing some textbook ZVT play. He dove into the main base with 8 mutas. 7's enough to one-shot SCVs, and you can afford to have 1 muta die on the dive-in and still one-shot the SCVs with 7, and just really harass the Terran player here and use this dead space with the high ground to just kind of mitigate any threat of losing the mutas and just keep coming in to the main base and natural and keeping the pressure on. Has you can dive onto the main base here is Queen right now. Actually, he anticipated the move out. Is just going to dive onto the turrets in the main base. He is currently making 2 creep colonies, but they're not currently going to be finishing in time if he stims across the map. So there is a small potential here for Mong to do something, but I don't think he's going to get up there in time. He's just not going to have the window to get in there and get on top of these Sunkens before they're finished. And now Queen can get all the way back onto the map with these mutas and shut down this Bioforce on the map soon as well.
Mong gonna head up towards the 3rd base. He spotted it, but will he be able to kill this base? It looks like he might be. The drones are gonna be pulled. He will back away, building a bunch of sunken colonies here. Queen is just gonna go for the kill. He's gonna try and break this main base, kill all the turrets, and hopefully win right here, right now. And the counterattack from Mong will not be able to do anything. Ling's there at the front dealing some damage. Hasn't actually killed Mong just yet. As long as he keeps building some of these turrets here in the main and natural and doesn't allow these all to go down. Oh my god, he's gonna lose all the turrets. Okay, he will be broken here in the natural at least, but he can't break the natural of Queen. There's too many sunken colonies there.
Wow, he's going to lose this medic potentially as well, and he's going to get the armory sniped as well, so there's going to be no Valkyrie follow-up for the time being if this keeps getting sniped over and over again. Really bad news bear situation here from Mong, and he can't really put any pressure onto Queen as well because there's this big sunken wall as well. So right now Queen's very comfortable just to keep the pressure on, deny mining the natural expansion, and get an eventual advantage from having this 2 gas right now. Even if he hasn't got his 3rd base online, he is shutting down mining in the natural expansion, so he's still in a comfortable position to currently maintain this game state, keep the pressure on and deny Mong from stabilizing. But Mong has a little window here where he can just avoid any potential failure of like losing his main base and then eventually getting out a Valkyrie and restabilizing, and maybe can get a game state which is playable. It's just looking really dire for him right this second.
Yeah, it was looking better for Mong when he still had some turrets up in the natural, and he didn't realize that he needed to reinforce that, add more turrets onto that Queen was indeed going for that play, just adding a bunch of sunkens and trying to break with muta. Had he really bolstered the defense there at the natural, he would have been in a much better situation. But now he's got a Valkyrie out here. He does have mining going once again in the natural. He does need to add on turrets, but this is going to be hard for Queen to break this. He's going to come in. Oh, he gets 1 shot for free. Valkyrie doesn't actually get a volley off, but it does stay alive for now. Very important that that stays alive right now. 2nd Valkyrie is out. He's going to dive on top of this Valkyrie with all of his mutas. He's got 2 groups of mutas here, so he kills the Valkyrie pretty much immediately. Marines are going to come up, and the Valkyrie looking for a shot, but not able to get it. He's trying to get that Valkyrie to slide with the patrol micro, but it's not working out well for him.
He really needs to work on his Valkyrie control. He's stumbling a little bit here. He's not getting the value out of these units that he needs. They'd be better on just hold position, acting as point defense. They're not doing anything right now to the value that they need to be getting against these mutas. Currently having a field day in his main base right now. Queen, the man, the matriarch, the myth, the legend, the contradiction, currently putting a lot of pressure onto Mong in this game and transitioning into a standard late game phase as well. So it doesn't even need to end the game at the moment. He's just kind of putting a lot of pressure. Getting on top of these Valkyries, going to take out another one. There's still a pair of Scourge here as well, threatening, sniping this other Valkyrie. So Mong can't really come into this corner and deal with them in any stretch of the word. So unfortunately going to be losing more and more to these mutinous harassed as he transitions into a standard game while getting his 3rd base online.
Man, I really question sending in the Valkyries there because you really want to hit that critical mass. Waiting for like 4 Valkyries to come out, because with 4 you can absolutely smash the mutas, and he gets a great volley there, but I don't want to see him do anything more than that, which is just stay still with the Valkyrie, and when the mutas come in, punish, but don't try to fly out and hit the mutas when you know, with the Valkyries when they're not in range, if you know what I'm talking about. Just keep the Valkyries alive and get to that critical mass. Move out across the map. You should be able to shut down the 3rd base, but now we've got lurkers out too. Things are going to get really hectic here for Mong. He hasn't been able to stabilize yet, and there's already lurkers out here. I mean, he needs to switch into Vessel now.
Yeah, he doesn't have any vessels, which is the main issue right now. The Valkyries are going to do absolutely nothing for him against these lurkers out on the map, and yes, they'll maybe help deal with these Mutalisks, but they're not. The Mutalisks right now are kind of just the icing on the cake. He no longer needs these Mutalisks. They're just, just bonus value at this point. They've done so much in this game already that anything else is just going to be, right now, I feel like Queen is basically the only way that Queen can lose this game is if he wants to lose this game. Like, I don't think he should lose this game in any. I don't think Flash would beat Queen in this game right now.
It's a big statement there, but Mong gonna try anyway. See if he can get out here on the map. He's throwing down some scans, forcing back the lurkers, but the lurkers just can reposition here, slowly fall back out of range. The mutas are gonna come in, try to pick off a tank. They get the tank, but the Scourge do not pick off those two Valkyries. The Valkyries stay alive, and all of the mutas die except for two. Still, getting the two tanks is huge. That's gonna slow things down by so much here for Mong. He's going to have to wait for a couple more tanks and that vessel to pop up before he can really do anything. And that's so much time right now for Queen to get into his Defiler tech and potentially even secure another base beyond this third base if he so chooses.
But his science facility is only just now finishing, saying I just don't know how he can possibly take Queen in this game anytime soon. Maybe if he can somehow delay things, slow down the game a little bit, get his third gas online. Maybe there's a little bit of hope that he can start to, eventually win the mid to late game transition phase. But I'm not seeing it right now. Queen's getting this high ground for free. Mong's going to be with his tail between his legs until he gets some vessels out. He's only going to be able to get a lot of vessels out for quite some time. There's already going to be a whole control group of lurkers out on the map by the time he's even got his first to radiate. He's only got a couple of siege tanks. He's only making one vessel at a time because he's pumping siege tanks. I'm not liking Mong's odds right now.
Do you think it's time for a mech switch here? I mean, mech switching from behind is pretty rough, but just sitting here on 3 base and trying to get a bunch of factories out, is that like a high, is that a win chance that's better than just going Marine Medic here or what?
No, he'll just die if he mech switches, but he needs something like that to win. But it's just the mech switch is just right now he needs to make the suboptimal units to not die, and the suboptimal units won't allow him to win either. So it's like kind of like between a rock and a hard place right now. He can't really do anything right now. Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, it's really rough for Terran.
All right, running into some lurker spines here. Not how you want to be controlling your Marine Medic, but scan and pushing things back. Okay, actually, the vessel is finally out now, so he can reveal the location of these lurkers. Push forward with some confidence. However, more Scourge going to come out. Defiler making its way across the map. If this Defiler makes its way towards that natural, it's GG lights out for sure, but it seems like he's going to meet him in the middle of the map here. The Dark Storm should be coming down in a moment. First Irradiate may be thrown down on this. Doesn't look like he has it right now. Maybe he dropped it. Oh my god. Lurkers here at the back catching all of this. So brutal here for Mong. He's going to have to fall back with his tanks. It seems like he'll be able to get out of range, but he loses a bunch of Marines on the fallback, and he sieges his tank within range of this next Dark Swarm, which is really going to punish him here. Going to lose another tank right now. These lurkers on the left side are still alive as well. He should be able to pick those off now. But they might get one last volley. Okay, he does back away, and Mong gets those kills.
Yeah, right now he's just bleeding off so much of Mong's army that he'll never have the critical mass that he needs to deny a 4th base going up for Queen. And that's what's going to really be the nail in the coffin here, is that Queen will not be slowed down. And usually you will not see the Defilers out on the map in these phases of the game. It's usually the Defilers being much more defensive and like barely hanging on for dear life, and instead he's out on the middle of the map with the Defilers, so it kind of gives you a bit of an indication on where we are in the state of the game right now. He's got all the comfort in the world. He can even hold this high ground peninsula now as another layer to fall back to and keep Mong having to fight for every inch right now. It's kind of like a trench warfare scenario, and Mong sacrificing so many of his men for such little ground. It doesn't really matter.
Looks like another Dark Storm going to come down. He's going to target the Scourge. Very nice targeting there from Mong. Getting good value out of his units in that circumstance, but another couple of Dark Storms will be thrown down here. He doesn't have enough for a Plague just yet. Probably doesn't have that Plague upgrade here. A little run by of Marines. Just going to get caught by these Lings and a single Lurker. Bit unfortunate for Mongoose. Hoping for some big damage there on those drones over at the third base. But he's going to have to go for something like a drop if he wants to actually get some damage going. And maybe that would be a good idea. With Queen actually trying to Defiler push across the map, maybe a drop could be a good plan. But I think that Mong is just barely hanging on here. He doesn't really have room in his mind right now for something like a drop.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to coordinate something like that right now. And he doesn't have the starport production as well to risk going for something like that. It'd be too all in to commit to a dropship and like slow down his vessel production even more. So he's hesitant to go for those kinds of plays as well. And he just doesn't have the kind of like task switching ability, especially not to the level of Queens, that he can like make those plays tend to pan out in his favor. So instead, he went for a little run by there, but he's going to lose another vessel to those Scourge as well. Queen just inching as well. Big, beautiful plague on those Bioforces as well, making them even more tasty to gobble up soon as these Lings just shuffle all the way into this high ground peninsula area and just going to be chomping down on those Marines with their adrenal upgraded claws and going to be just like just dining on the Terran army right now, saying there's nothing left for Mong besides the rallied units now. He's going to get some of these medics and vessels back to rejoin their forces, but really, like, this is just the writing on the wall for Mong. If this fourth base gets online, the fourth gas kicks in, and these ultras start coming out, I just don't see how he's going to be able to keep fighting.
Yeah, I don't see it either, but Mong going to keep kicking here, see if he can get out on the map and maybe shut down that base up in the 12. However, two Defilers moving through the middle have something else to say about that. Great plague there on these science vessels. Another great plague on some of these Marine and Medic. Gonna be cleaning up a lot of that with just pure Ling and a few Lurkers mixed in. Mong moving up towards the top left. This is his final gambit, I think. He's going to try and get in here while a counterattack's going over towards his third base. He's going to be losing a lot of stuff back at home. All of these Marines and Medics got cleared out. The rallied units are going to be finished off. Some Marines are going to come forward from the rally point. Looks like they will be able to stop this counterattack, but his own attack over towards the top left has done nothing. It's just going to be routed and pushed away. Queen doing an excellent job at stopping all of these attacks and sharking around looking for some kills on a few of these science vessels. He's not going to find it for now, but doing a great job looking for these science vessels. He's been picking them off. He's got them low now with that plague earlier. Just needs to finish off a few more of these, and it's going to take the lights out of Mong. It's going to take the wind from his sails. He really needs immaculate control with these science vessels. Tons and tons of value out of these irradiates to have any chance in this game now.
We see the ultras popping out with their kindness upgraded plating, and they'll be mobilized soon. He had those Scourge parks between the rally point of the starports and the army out on the map. Sometimes you can catch those vessels for free, as Terran players are quite lazy with their vessels, and it's really good to try and snipe those as often as you can. And like a big plague gonna come down here, maybe. Doesn't quite get it, though. Instead, gonna lose the Defiler for free. Small win there for Mong, but here's the Ultralists with their big Carapace upgrades. +4 armor, as well as a melee upgrade to make sure they can still two-shot these Marines. And the Irradiate going to be acting as a double-edged sword as well, providing some splash damage to the Bioforces as the Ultras get in position to chomp down on them. Nice manual control of Queen as well to put the Irradiated Ultras out in front to both body block and reduce damage to his own units.
Picking off some of these science vessels as well. Mong is just about out of this one. The fourth gas is online, and the Ultras will not stop morphing out here, hatching from their eggs and just piling out onto the map. It always confuses me how a massive Ultra manages to get out of such a small egg, but we won't question it here. Tons of Ultras coming forward. They do have Irradiate on them, but I think this is just the tip of the iceberg here from Queen. He's got so much more behind this that Mong, I mean, even killing off these few Ultras ostensibly for free is still going to, you know, be just a tiny straw here that's not going to be able to break this camel's back.
Yeah, we finally see some dropships being made, but he's lost so many of these vessels, and they're the backbone of his army. And if he can't have a big fleet of vessels to use against the Zerg, it's going to be really tough to stabilize and like keep throwing out those irradiates that you need to soften up the gas-heavy army of the Zerg, pumping out 4 gas worth of production right now. He's got an absolutely insane amount of production. You can make like 6 Ultralisks a minute right now, and the 2 dropships now making their way into the 3rd base location. Get behind the minerals, but Queen is already in hot pursuit with some Zerglings, Ultras, and Scourge to take out those dropships and try and do this. But the Ultralisks can't really get back there that easily, so most of the Lings will die, but eventually this Ultralisk will chomp through those Marines.
Getting through the Marines, but another force making its way up here to the 12 o'clock. Nice job popping all of the Ultras through that Nidus Canal, and it looked like a good idea here, sending this Marine Medic force up to the top right, but now it's looking like a suicide mission here because the Nidus was used appropriately. Mong not going to be able to make any headway anywhere, and he's losing vessels here as well in the middle of the map. He's going to catch this Defiler moving across the map, luckily, but he's not going to be able to get that command center down in the bottom right. Definitely not. Queen is going to shut that down, and another base coming online now for Queen.
Well, this phase of the game is the moment of reckoning for Terran. Your main base and natural are mined out, but Zergs has still got a little life left in there, so there's a lot more bases worth of production for the Zerg and not much for the Terran right now. But he's getting top of this base on the right-hand side, shutting down his 5th base location. But the most critical thing is that his army's now out of position. Yes, you killed the base, but now your army is isolated in this top right pocket. The Zerg can now clean this up fairly cost efficiently. Just an Ultra and some Lings and a Defiler on the way with some Scourge waiting in the wings to deal with these vessels as well. But right now, he actually cleaned up that attack fairly cost efficiently, so going to be delaying Queen from getting this base set up again for some time at least. But I don't really think that Mong's going to have enough in his bank to deal with Queen right now. He's not got a lot of the income in the way of minerals to actually utilize this gas right now.
Yeah, he's going to lose all his vessels in the top right as well. That army got cleaned up very cost efficiently. Even though he picked off that base, Queen just going to double expand now. He's taking actually triple expand here, realizing that all he needs is just a little bit more gas income. He can continue to pump out these Ultras, and with Mong not able to mine on a 4th base right now, he's just going to run out of steam, and GG is called. Mong taps out. Queen takes that victory. All right, Queen about to run it back now. Here's Best spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Queen in the top left. We are on Troy. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but I'm feeling it right now. I think Queen can make it happen.
Yeah, I think Queen could make it happen. Troy's not the easiest of the EVP maps, though. There's a bit of shenanigans with these simulators. Can be annoying as Protoss players in the early game. You might be seeing some pressure from Best as a result, but Queen, very capable player. If anyone can do it, it's going to be him. He is against King Kong right now, so maybe there'll be a little bit of jitters, but he's coming off a win right now. He's feeling good. He just dismantled Mong rather cost efficiently, I would say, and he's gonna be feeling pretty strong going into this game. And I'm rooting for him. I'd love to see Queen go all the way now and just like absolutely reverse sweep these other 3 guys.
Yeah, after getting such one-sided matches in the KCM the first 2 weeks, I think it would be awesome to go all the way to a final set here in week number 3. It's always nice to see, but it would be especially nice after the last 2 weeks. But Queen still has to make it through Best here, and he is a beast. Absolute king of the jungle. We'll see if he's able to... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, he's going for 2nd gate.
Ah, all right. 2 gate here. I think we saw this previously. Was it last week versus Hyun, right? With Snow?
Yeah.
And he went for 2 gate and tried to block the natural and kill the natural expansion by blocking between these 2 assimilators. So we'll see if he does that again, and it is going to be tough for Queen to hold. He'll have to get a scout on this pretty soon, and he hasn't sent out a drone at all, so he has no idea this is coming.
No, absolutely no idea. And you could argue on one hand that it's a good that he's cross map and that he has a longer rush distance, but it's actually the opposite. Because it's cross map, he'll scout it really late, and which means he won't see it coming for the longest possible time. He's gonna go cross map with the drone. Oh, I love you, Queen. I love you so much. This is an absolute fantastic adjustment from Queen. He knows the worst case scenario is the cross maps, and he's going to see the cross map, see the Zealot first, now going to confirm the 2 gate as well. Best case scenario for Queen going forward.
Well, he did produce 6 Lings to start here, so yeah, definitely best case scenario for Queen. He's going to have to get a Sunken Colony up here once the natural finishes, but natural's going to finish pretty quickly. And I don't know if Best can get any damage here. Well, he spots the Zealot heading up to the north as well with the Overlord. That's such a nice little spot there. Maybe Queen can get the full surround on this Zealot and actually pick that off. He's trying to look for it right now. He doesn't know that it's paused up here, but he's going to find it. This is huge. He's going to get the first Zealot for free, basically. As long as he can get the surround on that, it's going to be fantastic. Yeah, he gets a great surround on that. No kills so far on that Zealot. Is almost going to get picked off here. Best completely on the back foot. His plan has been totally undermined in this game.
Yeah, Queen has hit the gorilla on the head very powerfully in the early game. Has dazed him right now. The gorilla's kind of blinking, not really sure what's going on. Going to retreat back to the jungle. Going to try and beef himself up a little bit. Going to consume many leaves, bulk up a little bit, and come out with some stronger arms later on. But for the time being, going to be a little bit of desperation mode, because right now he doesn't know how many lings are being made. He's killed the probe scout, so right now behind this could be a lot of lings coming. He doesn't quite know what Queen's going to be going for. He could even go for a drone drill right now to kind of jostle the Zealot out of the way, to kind of glitch out the Zealot and kill them that way. So he needs to be very careful right now. Queen can put a lot of pressure on, but for the time being, it seems like he's decided to not really show any additional lings while making a lot of lings back at home. So we're going to be seeing a follow-up massive ling attack, I feel like, from Queen, but he's not going to show his hand just yet.
Yeah, he's just waiting a little bit longer here, banking up those lings, and now he's going to come forward with a huge wave. We don't have, oh man, we don't have the forge being finished here yet. Without the forge being done, he can't even start a cannon. He'll have to start a shield battery here, and there's just 6 or 5 zealots. 2 more are going to pop out soon, I'm sure, but this is such a bad situation for Best. He's not going to get the Zealot out of this one. And running forward here, he's going to surround the Zealot. This is game over, man. Queen, he's going to break through.
Wow, the jungle's being cut down right now with these beautiful machetes. And usually you wouldn't root for the jungle being cut down, but in this case, like, it seemed to be what you'd want to happen. GG going to be finally called from the gorilla. He's been dismantled. Queen, the matriarch right now, sitting on the throne. The Game of Thrones right now.
All right, Royal versus Queen next. Best has been taken out. The monster does bleed. Drawing blood here on Best. Very, very good stuff from Queen, able to take him out, even though he went for such a strategy there with the 2 gateway play, leaving himself open to a large Zergling counterattack. And I told you, man, Queen is going to run this back.
I mean, it's looking like it, isn't it? I'm kind of excited for it as well. I mean, Khaleesi here just showing us, like, the way, you know, freeing the people and, you know, just ending the reign of terror of these Pusagis and showing what's up.
Definitely taking them out, really putting the Pusagi in its place. And now he has to go through Royal. I really do want to see him take on Snow, though. Will he be able to get through Royal here, or is Royal going to go to that final game? We are going to get a full series here in week number 3. That is fantastic news.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that. And I mean, the Khaleesi reference is, like, really intended, by the way, because right now Queen is the breaker of chains, you know, combo breaker in this week. And I'm all about it. Going to be spotting this early command center with this Queen snugly as well. I'm not sure if Royal saw that Overlord, but Queen might have just been able to keep it out of their range of that vision.
Yeah, Royal, the last bastion of Terran hope right now. The Terran has been a completely solid line thus far, not able to put any points on the board. But if they take down, if he takes down Queen here, he will get at least 1 point for his squad. And it'll be instead Zerg with 0 points remaining at the end of week 3. So a lot on the line here for both sides, trying to bring their teams back from the brink. And it's still Protoss waiting in the wings, having that advantage. You know, they did play second here in this week, and they will have at least 1 more point to their name, so extending that lead even further. Mini able to make that happen for his squad, but A lot of harassment here from Queen to start this off. He sent out the very early drone. It's funny, he didn't send out an early drone versus Protoss, which you usually do, but sends out the very early drone versus Terran here to try and harass, and he's got a bunch of links coming across the map right now. Is Royal just gonna die straight up? He does not have a wall right here.
Yeah, he might just be dead. The drone scout actually distracted him enough that he didn't even think about checking for incoming links. And the SCV block will buy him a little bit of time for the second Marine, but it's not going to be enough. He slips in. The two Marines are exposed. He's going to get on top of these, desperately trying to get around to the safety of the CC, and the SCV is not going to be able to do so. He gets the pincher on those. SCV drill going to buy a little bit of time, but right now will be 7 Zerglings to get on top of the other Marine as well. The SCVs are coming off the line, desperately trying to hold the position. The stacking is somewhat effective, but not quite good enough. The Marine has managed to maintain his life for the time being, but now Zerglings going to be rotating around into the main base, buying time for more Zerglings to come into natural, but the barracks is still not currently online. The SCV might get sniped there too. Queen is like on fire right now.
Yeah, he's gonna win with another Ling all in early in the game. I mean, 2 for 2 right now for Queen's Ling all in play. Both players not anticipating him to go for such an early game win here, but he is going to get so many kills that even if Royal somehow hangs on, and I don't think he's going to be able to, even if he somehow hung on from this position, he would still be so desperately far behind that Queen would be able to take this game no problem. He's even got a 3rd base up already, by the way. Went for a very early 3rd hatchery over there at that 3rd base, so his economy will be fantastic regardless of whether this actually kills or not. He is going to kill all the Marines here. The final Marine with 5 HP hanging out in the mineral line will survive for now, but eventually does get picked off as the speed kicks in. GG will have to be called. Royal taps out. Queen running it back all the way now to Snow, the final player in his way. Wow, all right. Queen going on to the final game. Set number 8, boys, we made it. The final game of the night. No need for the score anymore. It all comes down to this best of 1 here between Snow and Queen on our brand new map, Radion. That AMD map. The AMD name and the AMD logo in the middle. Going to be this very standard new map for ASL. We're going to see a lot of games here, so I'm really excited to see how Snow and Queen approach this game.
Yeah, me too. It'll be interesting to see. One thing I'd like to point out was that Queen, last game, I mean, wow. Like, Queen Khaleesi didn't even need to muster her dragons that game, is all I can say.
Which are the dragons? Are the Hydras the dragons? Or the mutas? Okay, the mutas are the dragons. Right, makes sense. Well, Queen here. Is he going to go for another Ling all in to take out Snow? It's probably going to be strong against this Nexus first, actually.
Yeah, I would think so.
But there we go. A hatchery comes down, so he's not going to go for that. We do have the hatchery first here, so maybe taking a different approach to this one.
Yeah, he's going to get a little bit annoyed when he sees this. He's going to be a little bit behind the curve. This cross map, he won't scout it for quite some time, whereas Snow will see him right away. So a little bit unfortunate. Won't be able to punish this Nexus first by the looks of it, but it doesn't matter. We got a hatchery first play, so we're still sitting pretty with Queen. We're still happy about that.
I think he's going to be fine here, and Snow going to grab that gateway. We'll see if he gets even greedier here now that he's seen the hatchery first. Yeah, gas.
Ooh. Snow actually made a little bit of a micro mistake there, chasing that drone with the probe. Didn't get the moving shot on it, and for a moment there was on top of the drone. Could have maybe denied that drone from even surviving that situation. Snow a little bit uncharacteristically not quite on top of his probe micro thus far.
We'll see if his Zealot micro is on point this game. He's got that gateway finishing up now. Should be producing a Zealot here shortly. Do we have a cannon? Yes. No. No cannon yet. Being so greedy here. Snow is going to go for a Cybernetic core with no cannon. Still not making that yet. just producing probes and zealots. What a greedy boy.
Well, Queen's not going to scout it, so he can't even respond to it right now. And worst case scenario, he could make a shield battery and hang on for dear life if there was an incoming threat. So wouldn't be totally dead if Queen did spot it. But yeah, a little bit of risky going for this really greedy core like this. Usually can get punished if the Zerg player is aware of it. So kind of Snow dancing with death right now, and maybe going to be getting away with it.
Really appears like he will be, and the Zealot coming across the map is going to start to put on pressure. The speed of the starport, or Stargate, excuse me, and the Corsair is going to be kind of insane. Like, this is Nexus first with no cannon, straight into Gateway core and right up into the Stargate. That Corsair is going to be wildly quick.
Oh, insanely quick. Yeah, when you if you get the core first and you get away with it and you don't have to adjust to a punish, it's insane what you can do as Protoss. And I don't think that Queen is going to be able to respond to that appropriately. He's going to be wanting to just throw down his Spire and play a nice little standard game here, and he's not going to realize that he's off curve. Like he's planning for a curve that doesn't even exist right now.
Look at this, Corsair already on the way, and a Zealot here in the third base, excuse me, almost getting a kill as well. He wants to finish off the Zealot, but doesn't want to take the bad trade here that sticking in this corner is going to allow for. 3 Lings just going to trap that Zealot for now, but as it regains the shields, it can always come out and trade a little bit and then regain shields again. Picking off Lings one by one and getting a lot of information right now is Snow actually with this Zealot. Keeping that alive at the third base, he can see how many drones are here, and he knows for sure that there is no Hydralisk attack coming. He can see the larva, and he's got the Corsair here already. Gonna start to pick off Overlords. More Zealots heading out on the map, man. Snow has so much momentum at this point. It's kind of insane. He kills that Overlord. 2 more Zealots gonna come in while the Corsair here harassing like crazy. Things are gonna get really tough right now for Queen if these 2 Zealots make their way into the third.
Yeah, right now Queen is being like thrown off the train of thought that he wants to be on right now, and he's in a very awkward position, and Snow's gonna continue to be frustrating him over the next course of the moments with these Zealots currently just chilling out in the center. It's gonna be a little bit an interesting situation because the Queen does this thing where he kind of like just hold positions his some Zerglings with the Zealot behind the mineral line. A lot of Zerg players would tell you just kill the Zealot, but Queen does this thing where he just like puts his Zerglings on hold position. He just attacked his own Ling! He just attacked his own Ling! He's in trouble now. The Zealot can come out and put pressure on. He's going to lose more mining time, maybe even a drone if he's not careful. Thankfully, the Zealot's already on low HP, so he's now going to be coming in and harassing these drones over and over again and taxing the multitasking of Queen. Going to be shut down with a nice drill, though. Luckily, he didn't lose a single drone there, fortunately. Of course, there's currently sharking around, putting on some pressure, keeping the Hydras pinned down for the time being while Snow gets his tech online. He's going to have a very fast tech timing with his Templar Archives as well, finishing up before 7 minutes. So his Storm timing is going to be racing ahead of the curve as well. So going to be putting on the pressure on Queen in the mid-game phase as well, with a very strong move-out timing.
Oh, Queen's got to be tilted, man. He killed his own Ling. Oh, you're just talking about how he does that thing, holding off the Zealot, just keeping it behind the mineral line, but then he just kills his own Ling and makes that completely inefficient the way that he traded there. Doesn't lose a drone, but forced off the mining for quite some time and forced to drill and fight. Queen is just behind in so many ways here, and Snow is racing ahead, like you said, towards that Storm upgrade. Still harassing here, but the Overlord speed is done at least. I'm glad that Queen realized that he wasn't going to be able to get his Spire out in time, and he went for this Hydra play, but he just doesn't have that Spire now. That's a big hole in his tech tree that could be seriously kind of punished here by Snow.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and Snow's going to have an explosive 8 gateways worth of production, like you should do at this point in the game as well. So And with that early storm timing, he's going to have a lot of Templar energy to use. He's even got a DT out on the map, maybe getting some sneaky damage in it. It's unlikely that he would get much done with his DT, but just showing the DT would be annoying for Queen to have to know that I've got to keep Overlords and Hydras back. And yeah, he'll also shut down the 4th base going up for free as well. So Snow's going to like pull out all the tricks right now to make this as frustrating for Queen to deal with as possible. He's even throwing down his Robo prematurely at 8:30, so he wants to make sure he doesn't have to worry about the Lurkers slowing down his efforts as well. So he's going to be ahead of the curve in every respect for the time being. Queen will produce quite a lot of Hydras though. It's not like Snow's going to just walk up and go, "You'll always be my queen," and stick his sword in the back or anything.
I don't know what that was a reference to, but Snow.
Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Jon Snow.
Yeah, I gotcha. The final season was so dog shit, but here we go. We'll see if Queen can pull together some sort of defense here. He's got quite a lot of Hydras. He's just now taking his 3rd gas. And a 3rd base coming down for Snow. So this is kind of a decision point here for Queen now. With a couple Lurkers out on the map and the first observer not quite here yet. There's a possibility that he could get up here with this mass Hydra and deny the 3rd base, but he would also like to take a 4th, so he has to make the decision. Should I take this 4th, or should I try to punish this 3rd? And it looks like he's moving out to try and stop a 3rd base from going down, but he's heading in the wrong direction. The 3rd base is not over here at the right-hand side. It's actually up at the 12, and it seems like Snow's going to get away with this.
Yeah, I mean, they got away with that terrible script in the last season of Game of Thrones as well. Yeah, I mean, Snow's getting away with murder this game, honestly. But so far, right now, Queen can there's still an option here, though. Queen can get on top of this, but there's not a lot of infantry defending these High Templars. So if he comes with a good Hydra snipe on these High Templars, he can still frustrate the position of Snow. Like, these two Lurkers, though, will be ineffective. The Observers are already out very early on, so can't set up a Lurker contain that he wants to cut off this third base. And now here comes the counterattack. There is like 7 or so Hydras to defend this, but that's not enough to defend this amount of stuff. Weirdly enough, Snow's actually not going to commit to that. I think he wants to make sure these Zealots don't get boxed in by the rallied units from the third base. That's actually a really high tactical maneuver there. Realizes not to sacrifice those Zealots, instead rotate them out onto the map, keep the pressure alive. Meanwhile, though, losing his High Templars quickly, and he's coming into the main base at the 12 o'clock position and just destroying all those cannons there, softening up that base for a further attack in the coming moments of the game. But right now, Snow has enough units out on the map to slow down Queen's advance, but eventually I think Queen's going to be able to come up here and put a lot of pressure on.
He's pushing up right now. There's not enough cannons on that high ground. More being added on at the moment. Storm's going to come down here on top of these Lurkers and Hydras. Great storms there. Really great storms. And Queen is going to be completely routed. He's brought a lot of Overlords with him because there were DTs up there. He will get up onto this high ground with a few of these Hydras, but I think that Snow is going to be able to easily clean all of this up with that DT and the Dragoons from the low ground. He gets rid of all of those units. And now Queen here completely on the back foot. He has to build a ton of emergency Lurkers and try to keep this fourth base alive, which he hasn't even been able to produce drones for just yet. If you watch any of Queen's tutorials, you'll know that he advocates building a full round of drones from all your hatcheries in order to get this fourth base online so you can really match the Protoss as they're taking that third base. But there it is. Actually, all the drones are going to be popping here and being sent over to that fourth. Will he have enough on the defense, though? Snow's coming forward here, and there's not a huge amount of Hydra right now. There's a huge 30 supply army advantage right now for Snow. At least 30 supply army advantage right now. And he's going to start to push forward.
Yeah, Snow doesn't have like the kind of critical mass of Dragoons that you can just like walk over the Zerg player right now, but it doesn't really matter. He's got enough to escort his army around. He's got enough to just maintain map position right now. And he's going to keep flooding out rallies of Zealots to strengthen this army. He's going to go in, maintain his Dragoon count as best he can, and just keep reinforcing this death ball over and over again and try and get on top of the rally point of Queen. But Queen's now going to just approach the center of the map with his own Hydras, trying to intercept, maybe pick off some High Templars if he can, but really just needs to slow down the advance of Snow and keep track of this Protoss army at all times.
What a few Overlords floating around here. Do we have Lurker drop? I think we're going to see Lurker drop coming in here. While Snow attacks into this third base, it's going to be a scary moment for Queen, but maybe he can get some big damage with these lurker drops. He's actually not paying attention to them right now over there at the natural. And pushing forward here, there's a sunken colony in position. This is going to slow things down by quite a lot, you know, eating that damage from the Dragoon so that the lurkers can really dish it out. And is this actually lurker drops, or is this kind of a fake here? It's really hard to tell right now.
It seems like it is actually a fake. I think he just wanted to try and like confuse Snow and keep some of the rallied units back at base rather than reinforcing the front. Right now, though, trying to fight these Protoss infantry in the center of the map has an overwhelming force that maybe can come up here with these Zerglings, get on top of those Dragoons. Maybe Snow can actually get on top of these Hydras and overwhelm his position and cut off enough of the Zerg units that he won't be able to defend his own position from being... Snow's getting away with murder in this game. Like, he's getting his 4th base for free now. There's no way Queen can maintain this game state for much longer. Like, I feel like Queen is playing way too passive in this game and is feeling a little bit jittery. I feel like he's a little bit on tilt.
Yeah, Queen. I mean, from the killing of his own Ling, I feel like he's started to fall a little bit to the side here, whereas Snow is continuing to just shove forward. Wow, look at that triple sunken on the high ground. You're not going to be able to break that. I really love that positioning there. So hard to get up that ramp, and Snow's actually going to rotate over towards the natural. Now the rally point is going to be under threat. Queen has a lot of lurkers there, and you can never underestimate this guy in the late game. He is so powerful. Getting into his Ling upgrades, getting into, you know, triple evolution chambers where he loves to be. Oh, a lot of Hydra's gonna go down here, though. Baited down the ramp and end up getting taken out by those beautiful storms. Snow getting some great value out of those units. And Queen, I mean, he's struggling to look for another place that he can take a 5th base. Maybe he can capture some space down in bottom right, but it's going to be very hard. And already Snow's got 4 bases. That's all you really need as the Protoss player, as we've seen previously from Best. In the past weeks here. 4 bases is enough to take out a player like Hero, even if they, Hero or Queen, even if they have, you know, huge portions of the map, you could still just keep fighting on 4 base.
Yeah, Snow's trying to like bait Queen into unfavorable trades right now. He showed like a weaker force at the front while there was a big stream of rallied units coming in, hoping that Queen would commit to trying to overwhelm that force and then like cleaning up Queen instead with the rallied units slipping in. But Queen is holding his own right now. He's got this big L shape of lurkers just trying to control this area of the choke, and he's doing a good job of sniping High Templars when he has the opportunity to and slow down the advance of Snow. But right now there is still a bit of a supply disparity, and eventually he's going to have to rely on these Defilers to make a play. He's denying this base from going up in the top left. That's pretty critical, but he needs to get Plagues online very soon.
Yeah, he not only needs to get or to deny bases right now, but he needs to get a base of his own, because he's sitting here right now on even bases. Although he is on Hive, which is playable, you do need to get a base ahead of the Zerg or of the Protoss player here eventually. With the Dark Swarm, maybe this is going to be the moment to do it. With Dark Swarm and Crackling upgrades, he's got +1/+1 on these Cracklings. They do very well against Zealots, so he's going to be able to break down towards the bottom right, and he's kind of thrown off Snow here, making him think that he needs to defend bottom right, but he's actually going to try and take top left. We'll see if he can get that. A Reaver out here already. Man, Snow, he just loves his Reavers so much, and they're going to be very useful in this type of situation.
It's kind of like his trademark. I mean, no one can deny how good he is with those Reavers. Might better find some use of them. Oh, he manages to get the Defiler just before the Dark Swarm activated. Nice little snipe there from Snow. Every little helps at this stage in the game. So far, he's doing a good job of trying to stop Queen from setting up this 5th base critically. I'm not sure what's going on in the top left right now, but so far we see a lot of skirmishing going down at the front, keeping the army of Queens. Oh, the Lurkers! They're not buried to not going to deny those Zealots getting on top of the Actually, Queen is currently completely distracted by defending right now. He's not going to be able to save that base on top left either.
Oh, this is not good. Breaking through here is Snow. He's going to get a big storm on top of all the drones as well. And he has to run in right now with his Lurkers and Hydras to try and break this, to try and stop this from happening. But He's not going to be able to. All the storms are going to come down as the lurkers make their way forward. Storms are going to eviscerate this force, and the top left has been killed as well. So losing all of these hatcheries plus losing the top left is an absolute death blow. He's going to run forward here with the lurkers, hoping that there's not more storms, but there are. And the storms land on huge patches of lurkers. 4 of them are going to be dropped to just a couple of HP, 1 shot away from the Dragoons from going down. And there's the Dark Swarm wearing off. All the Dragoons going to shove forward. GG. Snow takes that game, and another win here for Protoss. Damn. All right, wrapping up. Protoss with another victory here. Keeping those lines as straight as an arrow. I mean, I feel like we've drawn a lot of different pictures with the point rankings over the different seasons, but I've never seen one particularly this symmetrical or straight in all the seasons of KCM we've done so far, Shun.
Yeah, this is looking like a pretty linear trend right now. Protoss just like, exploding out into the stratosphere. Zerg trying to get up to low Earth orbit. Meanwhile, Terran kind of trying to scratch their heads, figuring out how rocketry even works.
The Terran having a very hard time this season. Sometimes we see Terran dominate. Sometimes we see Protoss take the lead. Occasionally Zerg up on top. But guys, we have to see the forest for the trees. This game is incredibly balanced. Every season we don't know who is going to be dominating, whether it be Terran, Protoss, or Zerg, and overall very, very balanced.
Yeah, I think so far it looks like we are going to be having that ZVT semifinals battle, but it's still not decided yet. Weeks 4 and 5 will probably start to paint a more decisive picture. If the trend does continue or not, we could see things change rapidly over the next course of a few weeks. We have discovered that the apes do bleed, at least. There were quite a few games here that made it seem like, okay, maybe the Zerg and Terran got a bit of a fighting chances. So if the apes bleed, they can die.
That's right. We've drawn blood on the gorillas in the jungle, and now we may be able to at least drop them to second place in a future KCM week. They're going to be holding on tightly, though, to their crown. Let's see if we just end up with the ZVT semifinals or not. We've still got plenty of time left. Quite a few more weeks of awesome action here at the KCM. So thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll see you guys in the next video.